How are you today? Happy Saturday. And hello, Mama Bear. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Good to hear. Thank you guys for joining us today. Please make sure to hit the like button and share this out as you come through that door. I appreciate that so very much. I hope you guys are having a great start to your day. It is sunny here. It's still freezing, but it's sunny out. Very sunny. So seeing the sun is like, you know, when you were 5 and 6 years old and it was 22 degrees outside and you'd see the sun and you thought it was 85 degrees out and you'd beg your mom to go outside and play and she said, no, it's too cold. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of like that still. So anyway, thank you guys so again so much for joining us. I appreciate you very much. I hope you guys are enjoying the weekend. If all you hard workers out there, I hope you're enjoying your days off too. If you're off this weekend, that's awesome. Yes, it's very sunny. If you can see the glare on my face, but it's still like 19 degrees or something. It's crazy cold. Come on in, everybody. Guys, by the way, thank you all for joining us last night on our Idaho 4 show. It was a really good turnout. It was a great show, actually. It was a lot of good conversation. That'll be another one of those are coming up here soon, as per requested from everybody else in here. Speaking of all the people in here, who do we have in here? It looks like Stormy's back in the house. Good afternoon to you, Miss Stormy. Tandy, Seahawks fan. Good to see you, Miss Tandy. Peaky X in the house. Miss Bonnie Bailey, the lovely and amazing Miss Bonnie Bailey. Welcome. Good to see you, my dear. Thank you for being here again. Of course, Mama Bear up here gracing me with her beautiful presence as always. I appreciate you, Mama Bear. Horse TV, welcome back. Good to see you. Good afternoon to you. Brandy B, the OG's in the house. Let's see here. Mikey, the last 24 in the house. Good to see you, brother. The lovely Miss Wisdom Speaks. Thank you so much for joining us today, Miss Sherry. We appreciate you very much. Lisa Joe, hey, yo. Good to see you today. Great to have you here. Steven's in the house with Crime Mobsters. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us. Again, guys, please hit the like button. Share it out if you will. Let everybody know we're hanging out in here today. Just catching up on what's going on in the world around us. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for those of you that joined us last night. It was a great show. I really enjoyed you guys. I enjoyed the conversation. Everybody was very, very respectful, which was amazing. Um, it was a great show, and we're going to be doing more of those. Like I said, everybody requested it, so and everybody was doing the right thing and treating each other with respect, and we could talk about things without people flipping out and so on and so forth. And I really enjoyed that. So, and please, but I'm not powder, I promise you guys, but that sun, I can't get it to move any other direction. I've tried to fix things, but it didn't work. I know I look like powder, but I'm not that white, I promise. Come down here. Can you see me? No. Okay. Um, if I nod off, someone nudged me the radiation. Oh, I know, Bonnie. It's okay, dear. You don't ever worry about whatever you do. If you nod off, we'll make sure you're okay, dear. We're not gonna scream and yell at you or anything like that. That's absolutely understandable. Exactly. I do look like Powder Puff, don't I? Uh-huh. Thank you, Poppy. The Robovac stopped in the middle of the floor here, like 5 feet from the dock. Oh man, that sucks. Jeez. Damn Robovac. Did it die? Almost got there and it was I can't make it. Oh, you like that song. Thank you. I got some great music in here. Thank you to uh that one wasn't, but most of the other stuff is because of Molly. Molly does some great stuff with her she's very talented, guys. Her videography stuff and her songs she creates. I'm very lucky to have her here as part of this family. She does amazing things. Speaking of, she said, "Morning." There she is. Good to see you, Miss Molly. Arctic Box, welcome, bud. Good to see you. Great show today. Arctic did a really good show, guys. If you didn't check it, please go check it out. It was good. It was very good. Um, you guys did a great job over there, bud.
Hey, Arctic.
Very good job. Um, hold on, everyone. Let me get these things set up. Okay. And all right, Mama Bear's link is pinned in the chat, guys. Please, if you will, please click on Mama Bear's link, jump on over. You know what I'm going to say. The like button, please share it out, and also subscribe if you haven't. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss nothing, guys. Please and thank you. It's pinned right there. Very much appreciated.
Very much.
So how's that been going, Mom? And how's the channel looking, Mama Bear?
It's mostly, I mean, I'm almost at, I think I'm at 450 something subscribers. So once I hit 500, I'll have that checked off.
Okay.
But it's the views, getting the
watch time hours and all that.
Yeah, the watch hours. Let me see.
Yeah.
What is it? It's got to be like a whole crap ton, and I don't have anywhere near.
I think it was 4,000 when I started. It might have changed, but
where the hell's my? There it is.
By the way, guys, there's Arctic's link. If you guys haven't seen the show this morning yet, please go check it out. And like everything, he covered AJ Sloan. It was a great show. He had AJ's sister up there. Is amazing. It was really, really amazing. And it's definitely going to bring some awareness, which is absolutely needed. So, again, great job to you and Kimber and Doodle, as always. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. You're doing amazing stuff. So, thank you. Mikey said, "Oh, come on now. I have my watch time hours done in 3 weeks, but oh, whatever." That's what I do.
You must have been showing some skin or something there, bub.
Either that or he's got all ladies that have subscribed to him, and that's probably why. Mikey's that hot commodity with the ladies, so it is what it is. You're good.
So I got 454 subscribers, so almost to 500, but I have my 3 video uploads. So at this point, that's good, but I only have 387 public watch hours, and I need 3,000.
Do you do shorts, Mama Bear?
I've done a couple. I haven't done a bunch since way back when.
Okay, because I think the shorts are what are bringing it. From what Doodle had told me, that shorts help to bring people in, which she's right. They did bring a lot of people in here too at one point in time. So maybe try the shorts, and maybe we can get some shorts together and get that out too. Maybe that'll help. I don't know, for the views and stuff.
Okay.
Because I know that all links together. It links it together with the shorts and the regular videos. The numbers all go together with that. So that might help too. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I got a thing I think it was last night. It's like, congratulations, your channel is 2 years old. And I'm like, oh my God.
You have a good excuse, though. You were working and busy. And you didn't really have time to do anything with it. So that's not your fault. We'll make it happen. We will make it happen. He has linked it to his OF account, OnlyFans account. He probably did, Candy. See, you're caught, Mikey. You're caught, Mikey. That's what he did. Mark Clements, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Mark said I subscribed from my hubby's phone. See, there you go. That's a way to do it. Thank you, guys. Again, please make sure to check out Mama Bear's channel, subscribe to it, hit the notification bell, and like it, and share it out if you can.
Hiya, Moonlit.
Horse TV said I'm new network starting out too, so it's a struggle, but we'll make it happen over here. We will.
There ain't no secrets. Just put in the work.
Oh, she is. She has been lately.
Yeah, I've been working on one all day today.
Yep. Good to see you, Mark. Again, appreciate you.
Somebody that's on the FBI top 10 most wanted list. Fugitives.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who is it?
You have to wait for my video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that. 100%. That sounds like a good... See? There it is. That's how you do it right there. I was just curious, but yeah. No, that's absolutely the way you do it. All right, guys. So welcome in, guys. Please, again, thank you for hitting the like button. Looks like we got 29 peeps in here, 11, 13 likes. That happened quick. Okay. Oh, and tonight, everybody, again, tonight, don't forget, it is Creepy Unexplained and Scary Saturday Night, guys. We're looking into skinwalkers tonight, everyone. So I hope you're interested. Anybody that's interested, please pop in tonight for that. I'll set that up here after this show shortly. I forgot about it. It's Saturday. Jeez. Okay. Oh, okay, Stormy. Well, thank you for popping in to say hi. Have a good day and be safe out there. One second. Okay, here we go.
Candy. Shh.
Yes, it's a secret. We got to make sure everybody comes over to the show to see who it is. That's important. You guys are funny. All right. First and foremost, as always, if everybody could, I think Miss Kaylee's in the hospital again, guys. So if you guys could keep her in your prayers, and thoughts, please do that. She's had a bad run of luck with her health lately, so.
Yeah, and I told her to just keep her tush there for
Mm-hmm.
as long as she needs to. Make sure that she's healthy when she comes out.
That's it. Don't try to get out early and then have to go back in again.
Right.
We
I know
definitely
she's
don't
bored
want
out of her mind, but dang it.
that. Yeah, I can imagine. I can't. Hospital stays are not fun by any means whatsoever.
You know, for me, I could do a couple days or so. It'd be like a vacation.
I was gonna say for you, yeah, it probably would be. Just
What?
sleep.
A bed, food, you know, just given to you when you want it, when you need it. Somebody bring you stuff, lay in bed, watch TV.
Yeah, right. The only problem would be the food.
Yeah.
As long as you can get somebody to bring you some real food in, because hospital food, no.
True.
Welcome, Dawn Knotts. Wonderful to see you again. Dagburn, Johnny Gobbles, Dead Floozy Mother. Welcome back. I love saying it. Matahari, good to see you. I just like saying it. It's hilarious. Dagburn, Johnny Gobbles, Dead Floozy Mother. However you came up with that, I know where some of it probably came from, but still, it's hilarious the way you put it in there, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Bonnie. I think you'll enjoy that tonight too. The beds are not comfortable. No, they're not. And they make noise. That's the one thing I hate about hospital beds is because
I'm narcoleptic. I don't care.
No, you could probably sleep standing on your head.
I was going to say, give me a concrete floor and I'll go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter. I might not be real happy in the morning when I wake up, but
yes, exactly.
Stiff as a board, but I can still sleep.
I couldn't do that. I can. They're made for. Well, they have those one just kind of inflate and deflate and inflate and deflate while you're laying for whatever reasons. But yeah, the thing is like when I remember when I had the brain surgery done when I was in the hospital. Every time I would turn, the bed would make all this sound like a bag of potato chips opening, and it's like stop immediately. Like that's not. How do you sleep through that? I don't get it. So be it. Awesome, guys. 30 peeps in the house. Again, please hit that like button, share it out. And please make sure you're hitting the like button on Mama Bear's side too. Please and thank you. The link is pinned in the chat.
Hi, am I Brian?
Brian, guys, in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're feeling good today, Brian. Thank you for joining us. My son fell asleep in the shower once. I took him to be tested for narcolepsy. Turns out he can just fall asleep that easily. I'm so jealous. Good Lord, that would be nice. Leslie and Billy, welcome. Number 19. Happy Saturday to you. Appreciate you being here.
I'm glad he doesn't have narcolepsy because it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, Mama Bear goes through some stuff, that's for sure. There's a couple times back when we first got together doing this that she popped in here and I'm like, wait, she was sleeping. She was typing something that made no sense. I'm like, I think she still is sleeping. So yeah. you'll come in and out of things. Of course, Mama Bear has to have her snacks every night too. So that's when she'll usually show up at late because she's getting her cookies.
Yeah, I've been having to take him to the bedroom with me and wait till he falls asleep.
Ah, sneak in.
Yeah. Everybody was getting upset, and the kids were starting to stay downstairs when I'd be downstairs. And they're like, Mom, you're going to fall asleep. I can't go upstairs and go to bed till you go to bed. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. Okay. So I've been staying in bed.
Well, at least you're being a good girl. How many times have we yelled at you and told you to go back to bed?
More times than I can count.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You got it now. You're good. Yeah, Molly, I would do that too, especially in the bathtub. After when I would get off of work, of course, I was sore all the time and stuff like that. So I would get in the bathtub, because when you work in fire service and stuff, a shower is great. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I would do both. Take a shower to wash off all the crap and then get in the bathtub to soak because my muscles were sore. And just about every time I would do that, Brandy or even the creature would come in and go, hey, just give me about a heart attack. I almost drowned a couple of times because they scared the shit out of me. I'm like, I was just taking a bath. You're sleeping. I can hear you out here snoring. You're not bathing. You're sleeping. I'm like, okay, it's enough of the bath stuff. So yeah, worried I was going to drown or something. Mama Bear perp walking from the kitchen. right? See? I know, hurry, Molly. That makes me jealous too. I have to half overdose. I do. See, I go to sleep now, but back then, no. I would lay there like staring at the ceiling, and then I'd flip this way and flip that way and turn this way and do that and do that. And then restless leg syndrome is no joke when you have neuropathy. Then you got to stand up, then pounce your feet. It's just no. Too many things you have to do to be able to sleep. Then once I would finally fall asleep, this is when I realized I had apnea. Then I'd fall asleep, get into a sound sleep, and stop breathing. Can't win or lose, guys. It just is what it is, Yep. Which I think I found a way. There's a new surgery they're doing now. With my thing is part of I think this is what my apnea is caused by, is my uvula. I don't want to gross anybody out, but that's the thing that dangles in the back of your throat.
Mm-hmm.
It's super long. So when I do go into a deep sleep and my body actually relaxes, I think that thing kind of
it blocks off.
And I stop breathing. So it's like, okay, they can take it down now and remove it, I guess, or shorten it or something. So
yeah, I don't know. Zelda had that done. You gotta be really careful with that.
I guess it has something to do with your gag or something.
Yeah.
You can choke easy or something like that.
Yep.
That would be my luck. Oh, Jesus, Mikey. Dude. I knew somebody, but Mikey, God bless America. I knew it was coming. Something was coming out of that. Yes, I'm done. This dude's a mess. I swear to God, bro. Yes, I do have tonsils and adenoids. I've never had those removed, so that could be part of my problem too.
Me either.
I can't do it. I can't with you, brother. I can't. All right, guys, let's get some things moving here. I need to get a hold of some more of the missing posters, guys. I ran through them all, and I will do that. But we're going to start off with this. I don't know if you guys remember. This is still an ongoing situation, the Sophia Franklin case. And nothing new other than this. And they were talking a while back about U.S. Marshals getting involved in it. I need one, Don Knotts. I need a new one. I have to go through another sleep study, and because my other one broke, and they don't make parts for that one, so I need to get a new one. So that it's definitely would change some things in my life. I promise you that. I wouldn't be so grumpy looking all the time, and when I leave here and go in the living room and sit down to watch a movie, I could actually watch a movie instead of just dropping out and going to sleep. You'd think I had narcolepsy sometimes. Truly. Ryan, what are you talking about, bud? We all have conference call Tuesday. I'm going to record it. What in the world are you talking about, Brian? What did I miss?
And,
I'm trying to go back now.
it's having an MRI, trying to wrap up fighting with the trustees.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I hope it goes your way.
He's gonna go on a neurosurgeon world tour, just like Taylor Swift. So they're having a conference call on Tuesday. He's gonna record it.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Brian. You don't have to leave unless you have to leave, but appreciate you being here. Lunesta. There's certain stuff I can't take to sleep because of my allergies and because of the other medications I take. So, and I can't get it. That's the other thing is I can't get into a deep sleep without having a CPAP on because I just completely stop breathing then. So there's something wrong with that. Hey, Peggy, good to see you. Oh, I understand. Internet issues are big deal. I get it. All right, guys, let's check this out and see what's up with this, what's new, and get going.
1 month since Beaver Dam police issued an Amber Alert for 16-year-old Sophia Franklin. This morning, that Amber Alert remains active. Her photo is on your screen right now. Police believe she's with 40-year-old Gary Day, a man she met online and who police say is the father of her baby. They may be traveling in a black Buick LaCrosse with either Arkansas or Pennsylvania plates. If you know anything, you should contact police.
Well, that was pretty weak. Give you this one too. Yeah, I know you can buy the CPAP machines, but it has to be regulated to push just a certain amount of oxygen. And there's a company that will regulate it and they monitor it too. So that's why I have to go through it.
Tonight, the case of a missing pregnant teen could soon be in the hands of U.S. Marshals Service, according to Beaver Dam Police.
16-year-old Sophia Franklin last seen leaving her home on the evening of February 2nd. She's said to be traveling with the father of her unborn child, 40-year-old Gary Day of Arkansas. Samantha Cavalli has been following the story for us. She brings us the latest information and a first alert update right now. Samantha.
Well, right, Cami and Bill, since day one, Beaver Dam Police have been in close contact with law enforcement on both the state and federal levels. This includes the FBI and the Homeland Security investigations. The police chief tells me that while they are still getting tips from across the country, they have slowed down just a bit. Now it's been over 2 weeks since anyone has seen or heard from Sophia Franklin or Gary Day. Amber Alerts have been issued in Wisconsin, Arkansas, and parts of central Missouri. In this new video obtained by Action 2 News, dated February 3rd, surveillance video captures footage of Gary Day. He's seen here walking through a neighborhood dressed in all black with a gray hat on his head. Investigators think that Franklin could be with Day in a black Buick LaCrosse with a Pennsylvania license plate.
Thank you, Brian. I understand. Thank you for joining us. Please be safe and stay healthy, brother. We appreciate you and let us know how everything is, sir.
Bye, Bri.
Several charges, including child enticement and child abduction in Dodge County, Wisconsin. He also has a warrant out for his arrest in Arkansas for violating parole from a separate 2019 child endangerment case involving his own son. Now, police are not giving up to find her and bring her home safely to her family. Sophia's family has also released several pictures.
No worries, buddy. Welcome, Eddie. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're having a great weekend, sir. Appreciate you.
And descriptive features to Action 2 News to help in the search. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Beaver Dam Police Department at 888-304-3936. Reporting in the Fox Valley Newsroom, Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.
That one really makes me sick. They dropped the ball big time in that situation. Like, he should first off never be out of jail. Never been out of jail, let alone all they have is a protection order between the two of them. Mark Schumann, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. So that's bullshit. He should not have been released for what he did.
Right.
And here we are at this point now. Hey, CZ, good to see you, dear. Hope you're enjoying your day off. We got some awesome teachers in this chat all the time. We got to give them props, guys. Miss Tandy's a teacher. CZ's a teacher. Miss Jody's a teacher. And they put up with all sorts of stuff. And you guys don't understand. They're just as important as first responders, in my opinion, because they teach our kids. And
Right.
that's a job in itself. Okay. Just to be able to, you know what I mean? So I think they should be treated just as much as first responders are because of what they go through for that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. They really do need to be celebrated a lot more. So thank you to you guys for doing what you do out there. I really mean that wholeheartedly. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I guess are you talking about the redhead tomboy? You call everybody your cats and your kids, and I don't know who you're talking about. So the daughter's a teacher too. Is that the redhead one? I think she said the redhead before. Either way, God bless her. I mean, it's not easy, guys. My daughter's a teacher. She's not working as one, but she's a IT tech for the Goodyear Corporation right now. But yeah, she worked as a protection order. Thank you, Peggy. Yeah, it's a joke. She worked
Hey,
as a
Brandy.
preschool teacher. There's Brandy B. Both our daughters are teachers. Awesome. See? God bless them both. Like all of you guys for doing what you do. It's amazing. You know, back in the day, I'd have thought, yeah, it's no big deal. No. That's crazy. They go through a lot, you guys. Like I said, just as bad as first responders in some senses because of what they have to deal with on a regular basis. Absolutely, CZ. There's no two ways about it. If we wouldn't be able, our kids would never become anything without you guys, is what I'm saying. And you guys go through a lot. I've watched a lot of stories on it and listened, and I'm kind of friends with a couple of my son's teachers too, and the stories I've heard from them and just seeing things, guys. So yes, you absolutely deserve and need to be celebrated. See? One of my kids attempted to stab his pregnant teacher with a pencil. Okay. Do I need to say anything else? It happens, guys. It's crazy. These kids.
Did the teacher deserve it though?
She's pregnant though, Mama Bear. I mean, Jesus.
Well,
there are some bad teachers out there. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. Anyway. All right, let's get some stuff kicked out of here and get to moving. Anybody ever heard of the Beaumont children? Anyone?
Beaumont.
Okay. This is a really interesting story. I was going to use it as a cold case thing, but what the hell? It is a cold case, but Mark Schumann said yes. Mata Hari said yes. This is a wild story. I've been reading about it for a while now, so let's check some of this out on them, guys. Oh, Kathy. Hey, Kathy said I mentioned a few weeks ago. Good. I think, yeah, I do remember you saying that now. Okay. In the office of the middle school I used to teach in Atlanta, had a powerful painting with the word teachers make other professions possible. Amen to that one. That's really interesting. I love that. Hello, Miss Brandy and Molly. I'm sure Molly's gathering things for tonight's show because she loves to do that, and she does a great job. So, plus we got some good new music to play through it. Actually, that whole new intro to it. Forewarning: the intro that Molly created for the paranormal show. Just be ready, folks. It scared me watching it. It's just the intro to it, so. Just be ready. She did a great job with it. All right, guys. Let's see what the story is behind the Beaumont.
It was a shock to all Australians.
And by the way, this is out of Australia, folks. Sorry, I should have said that up front.
2 weeks ago,
searching for the Beaumonts.
something extraordinary happened.
We found a feature.
That site warrants further investigation.
What really happened to the Beaumont children?
2 girls, 1 9, 1 7, and a little 4-year-old boy.
Somebody very confident.
Take their money. Leave them vulnerable.
The children walked across the road.
They vanished.
That's horrific. Horrible.
Australia's deep.
Okay. Just for those of you that aren't familiar, just to give a quick opening to this. This is out of Australia, like I said. These kids went missing at the beach. They were with their family one day at the beach. And there was the tall man, we're going to call him. They were seen talking to this man, and then they were never seen again. And this was a long time ago, you guys. So it's very interesting story.
First mystery.
Remember the grave we dug in that scary fella?
Now the biggest break in 5 decades.
It's a huge finding.
A year-long investigation.
It really is amazing.
A trail of evidence that leads to this site.
They're going to open up the whole area.
And this man.
He was a sexual deviant.
Like a monster.
A son names his father.
How many shots did you hear? 4. I got goosebumps.
Finally, we're going to find what happened to them.
Is this where the Beaumont children are buried? A 7 News investigation.
And yes, Kathy, teachers need to have hazard pay. I'm just saying, they do. And they don't make anywhere near enough. And just like Tandy said, we definitely don't do it for the money. Just like first responders, they don't do it for the money. You have to do it because you love it, because we didn't make a lot either. And most police officers don't make very much either. So it's about doing it because of the love for it. Definitely not because you're going to get rich off it. So yes, I agree with all of that. All right, guys, here we go. Hope you're ready for this. This is a little bit of a wild story, and it definitely is a cold case. So I get to do a 2-for-1 out of this today. I really wanted to bring this to you guys. I didn't want to wait on it. So here we go.
On Australia Day, 1966, Jane, Anna and Grant Beaumont came here to do what Australian kids relish, just a few hours on the beach at the end of the long summer school holidays. They never returned home. It is Australia's greatest mystery, a crime that destroyed a family. For the last year, 7 News and a team of forensic specialists has reinvestigated Australia's greatest cold case, and we've discovered startling new evidence pointing to the killer and what could be the burial site of Jane, Anna and Grant. Very soon, we may, just may, know what really happened to the Beaumont children.
January 26, 1966. And Adelaide's searing summer heat is almost unbearable.
It's a hot summer's day. It's Australia Day.
It was hot as heck, really hot. In fact, stinking hot.
A day that's already soaring towards 40 degrees. At around 10 a.m, 9-year-old Jane Beaumont, her 7-year-old sister Anna and Grant, their 4-year-old brother, are about to catch the bus to the beach.
Little kids, back then, were innocent. We were allowed to have fun. We could sleep with our doors open. We could watch telly out the back. We could do whatever we wanted to. It was safe.
Their dad, Jim, is away, up north in Snowtown on business. Jim's wife, Nancy, gives their eldest daughter, Jane, enough small change to cover bus fares and lunch.
She watched them walk to the bus stop just down the street. Jane would have made sure the kids got on the bus safely. She would have got on last.
Hey, Jana.
Was out and paid.
Glenelg Beach is less than 2 kilometres away.
No, it wasn't the first time that the children had caught that bus and went down to the beach by themselves.
And it was so innocent to go down the beach. We all did it. You just had to be home before the streetlights came on. And Jane, Anna and Grant were exactly the same.
Jenny Muirhead, Jane's best friend, often joined Jane and her siblings on their adventures, but not this day.
She was really quite amazing, you know. She could catch a bus anywhere around Somerton, Brighton, Glenelg. She would have herded them off the bus. She would have carried Grant.
Welcome, Miss Jana. Wonderful to see you today. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you.
And put him on her hip, which she always did, and then put him down once he got down the steps of the bus. Went straight to the beach. They would have gone straight in the water. She would have told Grant he's not allowed to go past the top of his bathers, because that's what she used to say to him. She used to joke about, don't you get your belly button wet or I'll get cross at you. Would have sunbaked, kids would have built sandcastles. Yeah, it would have been just an average day, really.
It was a time of innocence, and it was a far simpler time for us and a far more innocent time for the state. It was really a good time.
Children went anywhere and everywhere. There was no fear of being abducted. It didn't happen.
But something did happen to the Beaumont children. Someone was watching Jane, Anna, and Grant.
What they were doing was what I was doing, is what my brothers and sisters were doing, was what my school friends were doing. And it does upset me because that was my life. And they've gone.
Nancy Beaumont thought her 3 children would be home by 1 o'clock. Increasingly panicked, she waited as bus after bus returned from the beach without them. By mid-afternoon, she was joined by her husband.
He was a travelling salesman, and he thought he'd give the children a surprise and get back early. So he got back, only to be met by his wife Nancy, who stated that the children hadn't returned home from the beach.
After frantically searching the beach and nearby streets, Jim Beaumont went to the police.
I think Mr. Beaumont reported them missing at about 5 or 6 o'clock. It was at least 6 hours before their disappearance was broadcast over the radio and over the TV.
Mostyn Matters was a young detective on duty at Glenelg Police Station when Mr. Beaumont arrived.
As the hours went by, every hour went by, it became more and more concerned that something has happened to him.
The thing that I'd like to impress on you all is that everyone makes sure that they're familiar with the descriptions of the 3 missing children. That is absolutely important. And also make sure your friends are aware of the descriptions of these children. And also, if you have any new Australian friends, perhaps you can assist them in describing the children to them. 2 girls, 1 9, 1 7, and a little 4-year-old boy, and they have brown eyes.
Jim Beaumont now divided his time between the police, the search, and the public appeal.
What sort of a girl is Jane, the 9-year-old? Is she...
Oh, very intelligent, very intelligent. You've only got to tell her a thing once, and she always does what she's told, never to talk to any strangers on the beach. When she swims there, always in groups.
Be quite able to look after the other 2.
Oh, quite capable, quite capable.
It's one of those moments, you remember where you were when you were told that she had disappeared.
So the first thing, over here towards this ridge, right? You can break line now and come over.
I can remember sitting in front of the television and they were looking for her, Grant and Anna. And I can just remember thinking, being in panic. Jane, where are you? You know, you must be somewhere. You never thought that she would just disappear or someone would take her. But I kept on thinking, you know, she's such a sensible girl that she would get a message to someone.
Today is the 7th day that Jane, Anna and Grant Beaumont have been missing, and it's the 4th time that the police have searched this area of the Sandhills.
Initially, police thought there were 3 possibilities. The children had either been kidnapped, or were hiding, or they...
Welcome back, Matahari. Definitely interesting.
...suffered a tragic misadventure like drowning or collapsing sand dune. Police volunteers scoured the beaches. It was the largest search in South Australian history.
Welcome, Mom. Did you cover this last weekend? I didn't know. Okay. I missed it then. I don't know that there's an update, but I was reading through this and it just took me as very interesting. So yeah. Definitely thought it would be interesting to talk about today. Thank you. And I'll have to go back and check yours out too, Mom. Did you do the Beaumont show? I was in there for those, I thought. Maybe I missed that one or part of that doing it. Either way, good stuff. Very interesting either way.
On land and on sea. At Glenelg Police Station, Austin Matters and his detectives were overwhelmed by people phoning or coming in with reported sightings.
We were only a small outfit. There was only a sergeant and 4 detectives there. There was a queue out the door, you know. They wanted to see us and with information. And they all had to be interviewed.
I know that they talked about that they found something, a way to do something. So that's part of what this is too. So thank you, Mom. And there's Mind of Monsters link, guys. If you did not, go check out her version of this too, guys. It's probably amazing. They always are. So please and thank you. Go check it out. There's a link. Make sure if you have not yet, which I know most of you probably have, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share it out, guys. Please and thank you. Make sure to like it and everything else she has put out because it's all so very amazing. Thank you for joining us today, Mom. Appreciate you. Ray Knightley, welcome to you. Seema Turner, you as well. Michelle Eppel, welcome to you. And it's great to have you all here today. I hope you're having a great start to your weekend, guys. Mike, sorry. Moving on.
And the children were actually seen standing here, were they, yesterday?
They were seen here by a woman yesterday. Well, we think it was them.
We're trying to do our best, but we couldn't possibly interview everybody that was coming to the station and like it should have been.
I think most people felt helpless. What happened to them?
Stormwater drains and sewers were opened and flushed.
You did lead the men this morning to this inlet into the manhole in the Broadway.
That's true.
Now, do you believe that the children are in this pipe? Do you think that there's a possibility they could be there?
No place was left unsearched. The local boat harbour was drained, a massive operation.
At the Patawalunga Boat Haven in Glenelg, South Australia, in what is the latest development and perhaps the most dramatic one yet, the haven is going to be drained and the police will then inspect it.
Breath while people looked for them, while the Patawalunga was dragged.
Somewhere, somehow, they would find a scrap of clothing, a shred of evidence.
You know, everything that happened, we held our breath and thought, finally.
Yeah, you guys, I'll show the update after we see this part of this. Thanks, Mom. Welcome, Aurora. Thank you for joining us, too.
Finally, we're going to find what happened to them.
How's it going?
But each lead failed. The children had vanished.
Do you hope that Dr. Crozet succeeds, Jim? Oh, well, I mean, that's his belief, and I really appreciate him coming over. I mean, we've been hanging on for 9 months and 14 days now, and, well, we just got to wait and hope and pray.
Well, naturally, they were very upset, and of course, they were subjected and what have you.
It became a circus around them.
Oh, yes. They suffered a lot. They really did.
I don't believe that the children are dead, and I'll cling on to the hope until there's any evidence found otherwise.
As each month passed, each year came by, every anniversary, you know, they used to suffer. I know Nancy, she left the rooms where the children slept. They weren't touched. Everything stayed as it was. In case the children never came home, the place, their rooms and everything were all as they had left them.
A few nights before she vanished, Jane Beaumont left her parents a note.
Dear Mum and Dad, I am just about to go to bed and the time is 9. I have put Grant's nappy on, so there is no need to worry about him wetting on the sheet. Grant wanted to sleep in his own bed, so one of you will have to sleep with Anna. Although you will not find the rooms in very good condition, I hope you will find them as comfortable as we do. Good night to you both, Jane. P.S. I hope you had a very nice time wherever you went. P.P.S. I hope you don't mind me taking your radio into my room, Daddy.
Jane was the custodian of her 2 siblings. She would do anything for them.
Some of you guys may not remember her, but I know Mama Bear does, and there's a few others that do. A good friend of ours, Lisa, is from Australia. A couple of years back, I don't know, Mama Bear, do you remember her talking about the she called them the Beaumont children, but she said the lovely children is what she kept saying them that went missing years and years and years ago. This is who she was talking about. Do you remember that?
Just barely.
It's been a long time, so that's why I'm saying a lot of people that were here then may remember. This is what she was referring to. This really affected her kind of deeply, and she covered it on her channel about that time too. So I miss Lisa. I haven't seen her in a while. I heard that she had surgery and stuff like that, and that she's just healing from it. So hopefully we'll see her again soon.
Yeah, hopefully. I miss her too.
Yes, she's such a sweet, sweet person. They're called they were the Beaumont family, the children. They went to the beach one day, just in a quick, short summarize. They went to the beach, which was a regular thing. And they were doing what families do at the beach, enjoying the beach. And the mother had remembered seeing them talking to this thin, tall man. And they were just really intently talking to him. And she said in her statement at one point that she believed that they had gotten to know him from previous times that they were at the beach. So it's a regular thing for them to do this. And, you know, they were just doing their thing. The kids were talking to him. Next thing you know, the kids are gone and they were never seen again from that point. So there is an update on this. Mom was absolutely right. So I'll be playing that after this. But I just wanted to give you guys the base of the story. And Mom did do this last week. I believe that's when Far Q, which is an amazing, amazing person that Mom is very good friends with Mom that does help her with certain things. I believe I think she's one of Mom's mods, actually. And I think was talking about this. I had to think about it for a minute, but yeah. But anyway, this is even guys, this tells you a story. This is in another country. This is way back then. And things like this were happening even then, guys. So it's very sad. Very sad. Yes, Seema, no problem.
Late in the morning at Glenelg Beach, an elderly couple saw Jane, Anna and Grant playing with a tall man, whose description they later gave to police.
I believe that they'd met him before. It's not the first time they'd met the man. It was quite a friendly, it was almost like a parent playing with the children.
Jane carried an off-white purse and had been given enough coins by her mum for their bus fares and to buy lunch. The elderly couple reported that the man with the children said they'd lost their money.
Do you believe that was coincidental, or was that part of the plot?
It was the plot. It was the plan. Now you
Take their money, leave them vulnerable,
of course, and then
come in as the White Knight.
Yep.
Exactly, Matahari. And I think that was due to, like I said, the previous visits to the beach, but the two younger kids would pick on the oldest daughter, the older sister, calling this man her boyfriend. So there was probably some type of a interaction between them that made the kids think that in some way. And they definitely knew him well enough after those previous visits. I agree. Welcome, Don Docs. Good to see you.
If your plan was to entice these children somewhere to get them away so you could do whatever it was you wanted to do, what better way than to remove the method of getting home and be able to offer them an alternative? They went willingly, I believe, from the beach with someone. They weren't dragged kicking and screaming away.
At around lunchtime, the children were seen again. They were about 100 metres from the beach when Tom Patterson, their local postie, saw them.
The spot where Mr. Patterson last saw the 3 Beaumont children. He was riding his bicycle down Mosley Street and he saw them standing right where I am. He stopped his bicycle just here. He said hello to them. Then he turned around the corner into Jetty Road and went down towards the post office.
The young Grant called out, "Good day, Mr. Postman," and he called back on him, and they all waved to him.
Now, the children, after he passed by, the children walked across the road.
Across the road was a popular local bakery called Wenzel's Pie Shop. It would have been around here. And this is one of the mysteries of that day. Earlier at the beach, the children had lost their money. Yet Jane now pays for their lunch with a crisp £1 note, a note her mother had not given her when she'd left home.
The mother gave him 8 shillings and 6pence to get the lunch. Jane handed them a £1 note.
What did they buy with the £1 note?
The children bought cakes and a pie for the man. That's what they said, a pie for the man.
The kids said that. They were heard saying that.
Yes, they said it to the attendant at this shop.
That's when they disappear into thin air.
Yeah.
Have you been able to find an example anywhere in the world where 3 young children disappear and are never found again?
Certainly not 3 siblings. And certainly I've never heard of anything like that since.
How can 3 children be taken any great distance without being seen? It's never been done before. It's just never been done.
There's also a very, how can I put this? A very real level of trust between the predator and the children in this story too. In my opinion, of course, based on what we know, they very well trusted him, and maybe based on what the younger siblings said, maybe the older girl did have a bit of a little crush on him. Okay, maybe that's why they said what they said, because she exerted some kind of an emotion towards him, or something that they saw that made them think that. So there, in turn, there's a high level of trust there. So they would not even think twice about whatever he may have said to them, and possibly go with him without fail, folks, without having to be rushed, hurt, harmed, hidden, anything. Nobody would think twice to even look at this. If it's just a happy looking group of people, there's nothing. You know what I mean, Mom Bear?
Yeah, makes sense.
So, absolutely.
So what happened to them? And where did they go? To me and to many others, they never left Glenelg.
Someone on the beach that day had purely evil intent. What do you believe happened to the Beaumont children on that Australia Day in 1966?
The person they were playing with, the man they were playing with, gained their confidence. And then from there, they followed him. It was a Pied Piper.
What sort of person are we talking about here?
And that's exactly the same theory I was thinking of right there. If you guys all know the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, okay? He came into town and he played that sweet little tune on his pipe, pied, whatever the hell that thing, a flute. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. And out of the village, the kids followed him. A predator will do the same thing. You can groom over a period of time, okay? Years, months, days. This man was grooming these kids, in my opinion. Every time they would go to the beach, they would see him again. He would do this. He would do that. He would have conversations again and again. That's grooming, folks. That's what he was doing, was grooming them to get to where he was comfortable enough to go ahead and enact what his plan was. And this is what he did. But the fact that the parents weren't there, so on and so forth, that makes it so much easier for this guy. Off they go. Nobody sees a thing. Nobody thinks of anything. Yeah, Peter Piper was a predator. That is in my opinion, that is the moral. It's a modern day version of it, Matahari, 100%. looking at what we know today, go back to that story. So that says something, guys. If that was, we know that was a fictional story, but I'm just saying, like, look at these types of things and these stories that we've been told as children and that have gone on for ages and ages. They've been told for reasons. There's things that like this have been going on forever and ever. 100%. Yes. Like SS from, I'm not even going to say his name out loud, from Maddie Soto's case, 100% Aurora, and so many more. So this man was grooming these children. Every time he'd see them, he'd do more, gain more confidence of them, get more trust from them, and then just decided, okay, today's the day. Off they go. It's very sad. And like I said, this is in a completely different country years and years ago. So that'll tell you guys how long these things have been going on, and that it's everywhere. It's not just here.
Yeah.
It's all about power and control, and this is a very bold thing to do. It's no small feat to take 3 children from a very public place. Somebody very confident, very charismatic, somebody who probably lacks empathy for the victims, because somebody who's going to predate on children is not going to be somebody who's going to worry about their feelings or what they need. So we're talking a pretty cold, calculating person here.
No criminal case in Australia has attracted more suspects.
I want to make another statement. I promise I'll stop stopping this. But I wondered too. He took 3 children the day that he did this. Okay, all 3 of them. It makes you wonder, did he do this with other kids? Are there other stories that we could find that happened around this period of time? That it was just the one and only time this happened, or did this happen with other kids too? I know there's other missing children, but you got to wonder, was this the only one, or were there many others possibly? There's a lot that happens in Australia. That's why I cover the cases I do from over there. Far brings it. Yes. Yeah. Miss Lisa used to bring them to us too with the Wolf Creek story. That was a real story, guys. It was a very scary situation. I covered that in the Midnight series. They made a movie about it. So I covered the true crime, true story behind that. Oh yeah, definitely, Mom. Great story. I mean, it's not great, but it's a very interesting story and a very interesting background with it. Absolute.
As the years passed, one by one, these evil men fell under suspicion. Infamous child killer Derek Percy, linked to the deaths of 9 children. Convicted murderer and suspected serial killer James O'Neill. Anthony Munro, the scoutmaster and pedophile, now in prison after his extradition from Cambodia. And one of the most depraved killers in Australian history, Bevan von Einem, convicted for the murder of 15-year-old Richard Kelvin. Von Einem is thought to be responsible for multiple killings in Adelaide in the late 70s and early 80s. Film taken during the search for the Beaumont children even shows a young man with a striking resemblance to von Einem watching on as police drag the boat harbour.
So there you go, you guys. That shows you how many people that they went through thinking that could have been responsible for this. Australia's had a lot of stuff that has happened over there. It's a beautiful country, but it's got darkness too, just like we do. And there's so many other people here that have been possible suspects in this case, and that, so there's that too.
The identity of this man has never been verified. In the hunt for suspects, the net has been cast far and wide.
We're always looking at somebody that looked the part, but they don't look the part. They look like you and me, and in front of adults, they act really well. It's only in front of the children they don't.
The truth is, you believe that the main suspect was hiding in plain sight.
Yes, and it's not the boogeyman. It's a person of influence, a person that's charismatic, a person usually in a position of power, of trust.
He's had to win them over to get them to go with him. So it tells you about him as a person. If he looked scary, then they're not going to have gone with him.
In 1966, a police artist drew this image of the man witnesses saw speaking to Jane, Anna and Grant at Glenelg Beach.
He was about 6 feet tall,
around the 6 foot tall, athletic.
Fair wavy hair.
Yeah, that's Matahari with the conversation you and Mom were having. Miss Lisa, we had talked to her before about certain cases, and you cannot just like here you can FOIA certain things, especially because we're in another country. They won't do that. Now somebody over there, they have, like Mom said, they have different laws, different rules, different things. You can't just FOIA things like that. Just a lot like UK, they don't let you just get their public records and stuff like that. I don't know exactly how to do it. Mom probably knows better, as would Far and Lisa. If we could see Miss Lisa. She explained something about 2 years ago about how she was looking into a case and what she had to go through to do that. Lisa was a counselor and a therapist, so she had a little bit more of an in with certain things, but still it was a struggle. Things are way different in other countries than they are here, you guys. We're way more open and way more we hand things over and put things out, and we're blabbermouths over here as compared to these other countries. So and Mom says, I also have a contact. See, that's awesome. They do a great job, by the way. 60 Minutes in Australia does a really great show. In my opinion, it's better in some ways than what ours is here because they really do give you the case. You know what I'm saying? They don't bounce around it. So that's awesome, Mom. That's a great resource to have for a lot of reasons.
A longish face and a high forehead.
Bearing a close resemblance to the police sketch is this man, Harry Phipps.
It's startling, the resemblance in my mind.
A millionaire factory owner and father of two, Phipps lived close to both the beach and the bakery, where the kids bought themselves cakes and a pie for the man.
Considering it was a hand-drawn sketch, I don't think you could have got it closer had you been looking at Harry and drawn it.
The more I look at Harry, of all the people who've been suggested over the years, and there have been many, I think he is the most likely to be the actual offender.
And the thing with Harry Phipps is that a lot of people, they look at criminals that already have a criminal history, a criminal past, right? Who's going to look at a millionaire that has two children of his own, a normal life? He dresses nicely. He doesn't look like a criminal. In my opinion, that is the best cover to do things like this that you could ever have. Because he'd be the last person they'd look at, in my opinion. They're going to look at these criminals that have done things in the past, that are known for this, so on and so forth. And that is, in my opinion, why this went the way it went in some ways. Oh, yeah, that's what I said, Aurora. I covered that. Was that 2 years ago, Mom Bear? We did the Midnight series where I covered the true crime, true stories behind the movies. Yeah, we did that twice, actually, I think, Aurora. It's in my play history. Really wild story, too. Very wild story. And that's it, Matahari, because a lot of times my thought is somebody that has that much money, they're used to getting things they want. They get whatever they want because they pay for it in a lot of ways. Okay, I have this, I can do that, so on and so forth. Oh, right, Critical, Epstein and Diddy and people like that. You see what they've done. You have the money to be able to do the things you got to do to accomplish the goals you're looking at. And they do strange things because they have everything they want. Then they start looking outward for other things. And a lot of them, the mind is crazy stuff. There were two sons of rich people who killed a kid just because they felt they could never be seen. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The Menendez brothers did this. And there's so many of these people that have money and just do what they want because they know or think they'll get away with it. They can buy lawyers. They can do this. They can pay their way out of things. I'm not saying that's what this gentleman did. I'm saying I believe that's why this gentleman was not really looked at first, because who would think, especially back then, you wouldn't think that this, well, he would never do this. You know what I mean? So again, that's my opinion. As to why possibly it wasn't looked at right away. Exactly, Horse.
This interview relates to IFB file 080595WM between Bill Hayes and Hayden, Haydn Phipps. Hayden, as you're aware, I've been asked to speak to you in relation to certain matters involving the disappearance of the Beaumont children. Do you understand what we're going to talk about? Yes, I do.
Not long before he died, Hayden Phipps, Harry's eldest son, gave this interview to former South Australian police detective Bill Hayes. Hayden was 15 when the Beaumont children disappeared. His father was in his 40s.
How tall was he? Oh, he's in the region of 6 foot.
The full contents of this interview have never been publicly revealed.
Well, did you see them talking to Harry? Yeah. I saw him coming into the backyard from the Covey house. They came to Dad's car. I think they were inside the house, and that's it. Did you hear what they're saying? No, it's too far away.
Hayden's decision to speak came at the urging of his second wife, Angela.
When did Hayden first talk to you about the Beaumont children?
We were watching television one night and an item came on about the Beaumonts. And he said to me, I always thought Harry had something to do with that.
You remember Australia Day, 1966? Yeah. There's a reason why. All right, but in January... It was a real hot bastard in the dark. As hot as hell, it must have been 40-something plus. It's the day that the Beaumont children went missing. Yeah.
Hang on, Eddie. Let me see if I can get... No, it doesn't offer them. I'm sorry. Hopefully it will go through the whole thing.
They were last seen in the Collie Reserve.
Collie Reserve is a stone's throw from where Harry lived, in this house, with his wife and 2 sons.
Let me give you an idea of the very close proximity of the distances and the locations. Glenelg Beach, where the children came to swim that day. Over here is Collie Reserve, where certainly the Beaumonts were spotted playing. Harry Phipps's house was a very short walk straight down that road right next door to the church. And the bakery, well, that was just behind this building, barely 200 metres away, where the children were seen buying a pie with a £1 note for a man. So, who was that man?
In his interview with Bill Hayes, Hayden said he remembered seeing 3 children talking to his father.
When they're talking to Harry, they go inside the house. You hear, they never come out.
But Harry Phipps was not a suspect at the time.
He didn't fit the profile that the police would have been looking for at the time.
He was a prominent businessman whose firm, Castelloy, in nearby Plympton, made metal castings.
He didn't fit the profile that the police were looking for at that time. Like I said, this man is not somebody that they would look at as a criminal. Nowadays, we know that anybody can be, this person. But then, no, you wouldn't look at a millionaire that has 2 children and is married. That it just was it was taboo, I guess you could say at that point, for somebody to be like this that was that type of a person. So, and here we are nowadays when anybody and everybody can be looked at that way, sadly.
For the car industry. In 1983, Harry was awarded the prestigious Australia Medal for Services to Industry. He was close to politicians, powerful, respected, connected.
Nobody's going to look at him, are they? This upstanding pillar of the community who's won all these awards, he knows all these important people. He's clearly not. They would have been looking for a paedophile, probably. And whoever's going to look at Harry.
Are you afraid of your father? Terrified. Have you ever known him to be violent? Very violent, extremely. You ever known him to carry firearms? Yes. He never went anywhere without a pistol. You know what sort of pistol it was? 38 police revolver.
To the outside world, Harry was charming, charismatic, funny. But behind closed doors, he was a dramatically different man.
What was his childhood like? I'd say it was fucked up. His mother dressed him as a girl until he was 5 years of age, and he just carried it on. When my grandmother died, I found some of his clothing, and my mother came out and said, oh, you found out the secret at last. He admitted to me on many occasions that he had a straight-up fetish for women's clothing, and in particular, his mother made him little gowns of satin, and he acquired this fetish for satin.
He was a sexual deviant. He couldn't control himself when wearing satin or when he was around satin.
She actually saw him dressed like this. Yeah. Did you see signs of him having been sexually excited? Yeah. He said that he could recall as a small child lying in bed at night, and he would hear the sound of Harry coming down the hall and the swish of the satin.
He used to hear this swishing at night.
And he knew that Harry was coming to sexually abuse him. So he just waited for it. Now, you told me before, we had a conversation before, and you told me that your father had sexually abused you. Yes, violently. Okay, so full sexual intercourse? Yep. All right, how long did this abuse go on for, Hayden? Until I was 14 years of age.
3 times a week for about 8 years, which I'm assuming Hayden got big enough to deck his father, and that's why it stopped.
And I became big enough and strong enough to protect myself. And one night he picked up a plate of food and slammed it in my mum's face, and the china plate broke and cut her face open. So I grabbed him by the hair and dragged him out in the passage and dropped him. And I just held him down by his shoulders and punched the shit out of him and said, "Don't you ever hit my mother again." He never hit my mother again. What about you? Never touched me again.
Hayden had his problems, obviously, but in relation to his telling of his own abuse at the hands of his father and the Beaumont children connection, do you believe him to be believable
Yes.
and trustworthy?
Yes.
Why didn't he come forward years and years ago?
Who's going to believe him? You've got a father that's a very wealthy man. He was a millionaire, and he has influence. And he was a member of the Adelaide Club. Imagine the people he knew.
Harry Phipps lived until his 80s, dying in 2004. He was never investigated. 10 years later, Hayden, his son, died. A broken man.
Such a waste. I find the waste of human potential difficult, and in someone that I really loved. He was the love of my life.
Within weeks of this interview, Angela Fife also died. But in death, she and her ex-husband Hayden left behind damning testimony about his father, Harry Phipps.
Possibly the closest thing to evil I've ever met in my life.
Do you think he would have had it in him to kill 3 innocent children like that? Oh, easy. He wouldn't even think about it.
I know this man.
Exactly, Matahari. He was very well connected, as we heard earlier. So that says there, they're not going to go, oh, that could be Harry. No, even if they thought it was because of him being connected the way he was, the money he had, they just told you he was never even looked at, you guys. That's sad.
It may not be easy, but I want to show you this image. Which one is he?
In the middle. Older.
But dressed impeccably and neatly and clean, respectable businessman.
Mm-hmm.
And you're of no doubt that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Not comfortable for you to see that
No.
man.
No.
Harry Phipps was Adelaide establishment. He had status and he had money. Harry had it all. But it wasn't enough. Harry was a predator. In 1979, near his Castelloy factory, the well-dressed businessman raped a 14-year-old girl. She has never publicly told her story before.
My best friend lived around the corner from behind Castelloy's, and I remember having my school uniform on, which back then was very short, as they were back then, and I ran to my friend's place. This would have been about 4 o'clock when I headed her place, and she only lived not even a 3-minute run to her place.
Linda stayed at her friend's for around 2 hours. On her way home, she encountered the man she's identified as Harry Phipps.
He basically just said, "Oh, hi, how are you? I've seen you around," which he did. I used to stand on the corner of Castelloy's, and I've seen him a few times.
So you'd recognised him?
Yeah, yeah. He just walked me across the road and was just saying that, "You're a really pretty girl. I've seen you around," and I just went with him. I was more worried of getting in trouble from my father not being home on time than what this man was doing. There was nobody around. There was no cars around. There was no people around. There was no workers around. Everything had shut.
What sort of clothes was he wearing?
He had like dark grey pants on and shirt and tie, and smelled clean.
When you're accessing senses like smell, that is because you're taking yourself back to an event. So those kind of details actually make it more believable to me from a victim perspective that she's got a very clear recollection and she knows who the offender was.
He was a smart, clean businessman.
Very, very. That's why I think he was a bit trusting too. Because he didn't look, like a monster. He didn't act like one.
What is he saying?
Sit down here, you're a really pretty girl, and I've been, I see you in the morning, so I know you're around, and I see you going to school and all of those sorts of things. And then
Trigger warning. Content may include sensitive or violent content, not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
Became a little bit more forceful, and he just started doing things, and then he'd stop speaking. He did the raping, but started getting really slimy, really dirty talk and things like that. Yeah.
I know that's not easy, so...
No.
When he was finished, Harry Phipps began blaming her.
He changed. It didn't matter that I was crying or that my uniform was filthy or that my legs were scraped, gravel rashed and things like that, or that I was bleeding. It didn't matter. It was almost like, see what you made me do now? You got my pants dirty. You got my shirt, you got dirt on my shirt.
He said that?
Yeah, because it was all dusty. I was still more concerned about getting home before my dad did.
What did you fear in your father's personality if you had told him?
It was my fault. He would have hit me. He would have kicked me. He would have said to me, "You shouldn't have been there, it's your fault. Don't tell this, don't tell that." Yeah, that's what he would have done.
So you stayed quiet?
I had to.
Linda later sought counselling to cope with the trauma of Harry's attack. It would be years before she knew his name.
When did it dawn on you that you think you might have known who it was?
I was watching the news and Beaumont children came up. My ears pricked up when I stood in front of the telly and I saw Castelloy. I said to my housemate now, I said, quick, this is where I used to live across the road. And then they brought up a picture of him and my stomach just dropped. 100%. That was him.
On the day the Beaumont children disappeared, they were last seen buying lunch with a £1 note at Wenzel's Bakery.
If you talk to anybody in the 60s that was a kid or an adult, that how much a pound note was, that was a wow factor. And Jane was given that pound note. You have her confidence.
Someone must have given it to them, and we know that Harry, because we have statements from a number of people, including the son, that Harry, if he wanted you to do something or disappear, he would give you a pound note.
So it wasn't unusual for him to give out pound notes as much as you want. Okay. But you don't remember him eating pies? I think he liked pies, yeah.
Jane Beaumont kept her money in an off-white clip purse. Many years later, Harry's widow invited Stuart Mullins into the Glenelg home they'd shared. Stuart was investigating rumours about Harry and was shown around the house, including the basement.
But there on the shelf, there was a clip purse. And it looked out of place. It was in pristine condition, but it was out of place.
After leaving, Stuart contacted a colleague who told him of the potential significance of his discovery. The next day, Stuart rang Harry's widow.
And I said, I need to come back and have a look at something, which she said, that's fine. And so we went down to the basement and I said, look, you know, Jane Beaumont had a very similar purse to this. And she said, no. She said, I bought that at an op shop last week. And I said, well, what's it doing here? If you bought it at an op shop, what's it doing down here? But at that time, she said, I think you have to leave.
But that could have been the connection to the Beaumont children.
Yes, I've been reminded of that several times.
Yeah.
On the morning of Australia Day 1966, Harry's then 15-year-old son, Hayden, went to a part-time job at a nearby bowling alley.
What time did you get home? Between 12 and 12:30. You said you saw the kids. Yeah, I've seen them come in. Can you describe them to me now? The little kids, one's a little bit shorter than the rest, like short haircuts. I think they had towels. I think they had beach towels. Did you see them talking to Harry? Yeah. Did you hear what they were saying? No, it was too far away. How long had you seen them for? How long were you standing talking to Harry? Oh, only long enough until he took him inside. Well, he took them inside. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I came out of the cubby house and went inside to see if it was going on. And the front door was open. So I just assumed they left out the front door. Did you hear any noises or any screaming or any shouting or nothing? Any gunshots? Yeah, we had some gunshots go off, but shit, Harry's always letting off gunshots. That means nothing. You think it was all with the kids in the house? There was gunshots going on? No, not in that place. How many shots did you hear? 4.
Later, he saw his father loading what looked like surfboard covers into the boot of his car. He didn't find it unusual, as Harry often used them to carry his satin dresses.
And then he took off in the car? Yeah, a big Pontiac. Yeah, okay.
Believing the 3 children had already left, Hayden thought nothing of his father's behaviour then or in the days following. But what Harry and his big American car did next is even more baffling, even more suspicious.
The car was quite a new car. I don't know the brand other than it was what we would call in those days an American vehicle.
The Yak Tank.
Yes. We were asked to dig a hole. It had to be done on the long weekend and finished by Sunday night. It was hot as heck, really hot. Occasionally come over to the hole and say, no, I want it deeper. And then he would just sit there and stare at us. And then he would drive away.
Australia Day 1966 and the days after are well remembered by David Harkin.
It was hot as heck, really hot. In fact, stinking hot.
He and his elder brother lived in North Plympton, close to the Castalloy factory. In their spare time, they earn money doing odd jobs, like the one a well-dressed man offered them that holiday weekend.
I was 15 at the time. Robin was 17. We were asked to dig a hole. It had to be done on the long weekend and finished by Sunday night.
The businessman offered good money, which was an added incentive for David's brother, who was saving for his first car.
That was the motivation for digging a hole, otherwise we'd be down the beach on Saturday and Sunday. We had to be there early in the morning, so we rode our bikes down. We still rode bikes in those days. Rode down to the factory. The gate was opened for us. The shovels were there. There was a fellow there waiting for us. He directed us to where to dig the hole and pretty much what dimensions he wanted. Approximately 2 yards long, a yard wide, and about our height.
In metric, that's slightly under 2 metres long, 1 metre wide and 2 metres deep.
For some reason, it needed to be that shape and quite straight sides. He was quite insistent on that, and we just had to keep digging until he was satisfied. He would just sit there and stare at us. Occasionally come over to the hole and say, no, I want it deeper, and then just either sit there and watch us for a little while or drive off again. There was no pleasantries involved or thank you for your work or anything like that. He would just look at us.
David remembers being worried. The factory was shut at the weekend. If anything went wrong, no one was there.
And that was one of the thoughts that went through my mind, that if this thing caved in, no one would know because people couldn't see us. We finished. It was on the Sunday night. He came over and told us, that's it, get out of there. Gave us money. It was good money. I recall it was at least a £1 note each.
A crisp £1 note.
I'm not 100% sure what £1 was worth back then, like in American dollars, what it would be. I'm going to look it up. But from what we're gathering from this, it seems to be decent money, especially for a kid. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm going to have to look it up and see what the exchange rate was back then as compared to now. So
good money for 2 days' work.
We never thought anything of it other than that we dug a hole. There was nothing there to connect it. At that time, the children had gone missing. It was more that they hadn't come home.
When did it first occur to you that...
That's my belief, Mark, as well as I think what is believed at this point, yes.
you might have actually dug a grave that day?
Only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And what made you think that?
Well, there was, I was sitting at home, we were having dinner, my wife, myself, and tonight, had a documentary on it, and they named the Castorloy site as a potential site. They named the fellow from here as the owner of the site, as to being quite involved. And it was at that point that I said to my wife, wow, the hairs on the back are standing up, and as kids we dug a hole.
This dramatic new lead eventually prompted police to dig at the Castorloy factory. It was 2013. But for all the effort, nothing was found.
Unfortunately, as a result of this, the dig which we had today, there is no new information found relative.
Now, what I read on this, besides this here, that it was believed by some other people, and that's why I kind of have to go along with, because it makes sense that they were buried there possibly initially and moved later on. Okay, that makes sense to me. That does make sense to me. So I don't know, That's just a thought, guys, to keep in the back of your mind.
To this investigation.
A small but critical error had led to a big mistake.
We were in the wrong area. And nothing else had changed. We definitely dug the hole. The date was right. The time of the year was right, and dimensions and everything else. We were in the wrong place.
In 2017, after we began re-investigating the Beaumont case,
We're in the wrong place.
the mistake was discovered with the unearthing of this rare aerial photograph of the factory taken in the mid-60s.
There you go.
What it revealed is that the gate the police and the Harkin brothers had used as their landmark in 2013 was not there in 1966. The real gate was here.
This is actually our point of entry because there used to be a second gate here that the eyewitnesses described coming through. The car would have driven up that Phipps was in and parked in that area over there. And then they actually think that they dug the hole for him back here in this flat area. So clearly this is going to be our primary site of interest.
The photo had solved one part of the puzzle, but it would take this archaeological scientist and his team to provide the answer to the next. Could new technology pinpoint the exact place that the Harkin brothers had dug? The possible burial site of the Beaumont children? In January, in near 40-degree heat,
All right, Adelaide 37 at the moment and 41 later.
archaeological scientist Ian Moffat and a small team.
By the way, before anybody gets confused on that, their seasons are opposite ours. So in here, some of you probably know this already, but when it's wintertime here, it's summertime there. When it's summertime there, it's and vice versa. When it's, you know what I mean? So their seasons are exact opposite ours.
From Flinders University began the painstaking task of testing the soil at the old Castalloy site.
What it's not going to show is bones. What it shows is an anomaly, something that's different. So we're looking for an area of ground that is different underneath than the surrounding of about the right size. In terms of this mystery, this is really cutting edge technology. I don't know of anywhere else where this has been used before, especially in a forensic capacity.
The testing took 3 days.
We're going to take this back to the lab and put all of these results together into one big 3D model of the site.
It then took nearly 2 weeks for data to be analysed, both in Australia and overseas, and a profile of the soil where the Harkins said they had dug to be visually constructed. But when it was, what it showed was literally groundbreaking.
Hello, Xanthi.
Yeah.
The thing I'm really excited about is the features are about the right size, they're about the right shape, they're sitting at the right depth, and best of all, they're approximately in the area where the history from the site suggests that they should be.
Armed with this breakthrough, on Friday the 19th of January, Ian Moffat drove to present his findings to South Australian Police.
This is a really significant meeting. It's a huge finding. It's always difficult with geophysical data. It's an indirect indication of what's in the ground. So I don't want to jump to the conclusion that we've definitely found these bodies at this stage. But what's certainly been found is some disturbance in the soil that fits a description of the grave. And so I think that makes it very compelling.
Ian was joined by forensic criminologist Dr. Xanthi Mallet. Less than an hour later, they emerged with stunning news.
Really exciting. The police have taken over the investigation. They're very interested in the results that we've had, and they're moving forward to dig the site as soon as possible.
YouTube, Paula. Sorry, guys. Kane just had a flip out, and my entire house just vibrated off the foundation. There were two giant military transport choppers that just went over my, felt like 10 foot above my house. It was crazy. I live pretty close to a military base, so they do maneuvers on weekends and stuff. He just flipped out thinking What the hell, Dad? You know? Oh, anyway, sorry about that.
And you're of no doubt that Harry Phipps killed the Beaumont children.
I've no doubt that he was with the children on that day. I've no doubt that he was a pedophile. I've no doubt that he was a dangerous man when aroused. I've no doubt that on the day he was handling his satin clothing, and when he did that, he became sexually aroused. And into that walked 3 little children. Those are the things I'm sure of.
Last Friday marked the 52nd anniversary of the disappearance of Jane, Anna and Grant Beaumont. South Australian Police have now marked out and secured a section of the cast alloy site, which is right behind me. That area is now a crime scene, and very soon, within a few days, as a matter of fact, a team of police and forensic specialists will begin digging. Only then will we know what really happened to the Beaumonts, or if the mystery remains. Earlier, I spoke to Detective Inspector Greg Hutchins from the South Australian Police Force. The site has now been declared a crime scene. What is the next step? Logistically, what happens?
We need to meet and discuss with a number of specialists, anthropologists, pathologists, specialist crime scene examiners, because there's clearly a number of possibilities that need to be considered, and what ifs. What if they find a piece of clothing? What if they find rubbish? What if they find bones? All these things need to be considered and potentially can slow down the process considerably.
Just on a human level, as a detective looking at this case, serving, and the many past detectives who've been on this since the very beginning, how significant is this?
Absolutely huge. It'd be significant. It'd be significant for the country if we could find out what happened to 3 Beaumont children, many, many years ago. The family have suffered considerably for a long, long time.
And joining me now is Dr. Xanthi Mallard, a forensic criminologist with the University of Newcastle and a member of our 7 News Investigates team for the past few months. Xanthi, you will be behind the fence line when the dig actually happens. Who else will be there and what will they be doing?
This is a full forensic investigation, so primarily police personnel with forensic experts to assist them. The main one being a forensic anthropologist who will be there to oversee any elements of human identification. So if any bones show up, for example, that's the expert that will help identify who that is.
But make no mistake, this is a major forensic investigation now.
Yes, the South Australia Police is very much taking this seriously. So this is a full forensic investigation. They'll be wearing their full personal protective equipment, as you would imagine at any other crime scene.
Okay, Xanthi, thank you for that. And thank you for joining us tonight. You can keep up to date, of course, keep following this breaking story by watching 7 News over the coming days. I'm Michael Usher. Thanks so much for your company.
So that is the story, you guys, and it leads up to, give me 1 second. Oh, sorry. So what do you think of that one, Mama Bear?
That's really sad, disgusting, and scary.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And it, like I said, the sad thing about the whole thing is that they didn't even think to look at him back when this happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's horrible. So, give me a second here. One moment here. This was released 12 days ago.
Oh.
That I'm about to show you.
We begin tonight with what?
Sorry, guys. There we go.
Begin tonight with what could prove a significant development in the search for the missing Beaumont children.
Investigators have made an unexpected discovery at the old Castalloy site, a slab of hardened sand buried beneath tons of dirt.
Breaking ground in the hope of cracking South Australia's most mysterious cold case. This latest effort at the old Castalloy site in North Plympton, owned by the prime suspect, Harry Phipps, drawing nationwide interest and a crowd of spectators as excavators moved in. After spending hours removing topsoil, they finally hit what was the ground's surface in 1966, the year Jane, Anna and Grant Beaumont went missing from Glenelg Beach. Mid-afternoon, an unexpected find for the investigating team when they came across this large hardened slab.
At this stage, we don't know. We really don't know. But it's odd it's there. We don't know why it's there. So we just got to keep digging.
At first,
hey, Kaylee.
Concrete, but now they believe it's a hardening material used to compact sand.
We are going through each and every bit of earth. If there was something in the earth, we'll find it.
An entire state holding its breath.
We just want them to be found and just have some
Welcome,
closure
Jane.
for it and be able to all just go, you know, these beautiful little children are at peace.
It'd be good to get closure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hannah Ford, 7 News.
Well, let's go live to Hannah. And Hannah, we could get some real answers as early as tomorrow.
That's right, Will. It's tools down tonight, but crews will be back early in the morning. And we may know by this time tomorrow if the bodies of the missing Beaumont children are in fact buried here at the old Castleloy site. It'll be a big day. Investigators will have to dig through another 2 metres of dirt. If this site at North Plympton can crack the case, that's the depth they'll need to reach. They also intend to revisit the section dug up by police back in 2018. But tomorrow the machinery will be going even deeper. So for now, we wait and watch with hope.
Okay. 1 second here. There's a lot going on with this right now, you guys. Trying to find my other downloads here. Hold on a minute.
I'm good, Kaylee. Are you hanging in there, hon?
This was put out 7 days ago.
That has captivated the nation, and almost 60 years on, so many people are still asking what happened to the Beaumont children. A private search team believe they had the answers, digging up the old Castleloy factory site in North.
Thank you, Kaylee. Guys, don't forget, Mama Bear's link is pinned on the top of the chat. Please make sure you jump over, like her side of this, share, subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell, guys. But at very least, give her a like over there, guys. Please and thank you. Appreciate that.
North Plympton. The week-long search has uncovered no new evidence, but has provided the team with a new theory.
For 7 days, all eyes have been on the old Castleloy site. 10,000 tonnes of soil turned over, but nothing uncovered.
There's a chapter that has been closed at the Castleloy site. However,
10,000 tonnes of soil turned
continues.
over. The private search team led by independent MP Frank Pangallo conceding late this afternoon their theory that the Beaumont children had some connection to the site now shattered.
what it has generated is enormous interest in this incredible case, this cold case. More information has come forward that we now need to sift through.
The forensic team believes they found the spot where 2 men say they dug a deep hole for suspect Harry Phipps days after Jane, Anna and Grant went missing in 1966, but now believes the soil was removed at least 10 years later.
The area was filled with landfill that is dated at between 1970s and 1990s.
The team vowing to investigate where that soil was taken and follow up a mountain of leads received since the search started.
A lot of crimes are solved is when the public come forward with new information. There has been some significant information that has been passed on to me from extremely credible people.
This large block of land will now be sold to developers, and it's hoped it will finally put an end to the theory that the Beaumont children are buried here. And as this chapter closes, others are opening. Another private search team has shown interest in a Stansbury site on York Peninsula, which has been ruled out by detectives, but the Premier is cautious.
People want to do good. I guess the advice that I take most seriously is the advice we receive from South Australian Police.
Keziah Sullivan, 9 News.
Interesting, isn't it? It just keeps getting more and more. Also, I have. Hold on a minute. Is this one? Maybe no. Hold on. I do have another one too. Is this? This might be it here. I got so many of these. Hold.
Yeah, Docs, you're on my side, so there's not a whole lot of conversation going on, hon. Sorry. You can hop over to Dacos if you're tired of talking to me.
No,
Or yourself.
We're all here together, so you guys can hang out over there and keep her company. We're still here together.
She's like, why can't I see any comments? Well.
Okay.
Suspect in the Beaumont's disappearance have broken their silence, slamming. The family of a key suspect in the Beaumont's disappearance have broken their silence, slamming the latest search at North Plympton as a smear campaign. Harry Phipps's niece says she's disgusted by claims of a so-called bombshell link between her family and the missing children.
A new witness and a new area of interest.
Well, you can be disgusted. I would be too if I was related to somebody that very possibly did this. Good to see you. Don't dox me, but that doesn't mean he didn't do it, sweetie. Sorry.
Former employee of the site came to the dig.
Day 6 of the private dig for the missing Beaumont children, unearthing an extra spot to search. A patch of land that suspect Harry Phipps is said to have regularly stopped and stared at following the Beaumont children's disappearance.
Phipps had taken his hat off, held it to his chest, and just stared at this location for 15 minutes and then walked away.
It's a claim that's been previously raised by former managers, but this search team hasn't known the exact location until now.
The very last time he was there, to take his hat off and put it on his chest, almost like a sign of reverence.
And today, another dramatic development. Harry Phipps's niece breaking her silence, hitting back at claims of a bombshell link between the Phipps and Beaumont families. She says while it's true she was married to a third cousin of Jim Beaumont, the missing children's father, they didn't meet until 1983, almost 2 decades after Jane, Anna and Grant disappeared. Harry's niece has never met the Beaumont children or their parents, Jim and Nancy. The smear campaign, with its preposterous stories, is a great tragedy. The family fully supports SAPOL in their search for this horrendous tragedy to be solved. The dig was due to wrap up today, but will carry on tomorrow following this latest tip. The team hopeful that new clues will emerge in the dig's final hours.
There's all sorts of twists and turns, you know. We go down rabbit warrens, find nothing, and then something else turns up. It's been fascinating.
Hannah Ford, 7 News.
All right, and hang on here. One moment, you guys. One moment. Sorry about this. Trying to get the absolute newest update. This isn't like, as we're talking about, it's an ongoing situation and updating like regularly. So, hold on here. Okay, so there's an interview that was put out. This has been put out 13 hours ago. That another YouTuber podcaster did. I'm doing okay, Steven. How are you, my friend? It is a lot of money, Horse TV. I agree with you on that one. We'll jump on this real quick. This was put out by Dale Holmes. I'm going to give you guys the link real quick. Right there. And check out this interview real quick.
On with the g'day everyone. We have Rachel Vaughan here today, and it's been a pretty interesting period for you after trying to slog out this information for a long time. I don't know if we want to go into the full history here, but I'm basically going to hand it over to Rachel to give a presentation here after there's been a lot going on with the historic Beaumont children case. And for those, I know there is some people that watch overseas. I would just suggest go back and watch some of your old videos. So if you want to send me the best ones, I'll put them under here if people want to get background around the whole case, because Rachel's got a lot of new information and stuff that we're going to put in today. But yeah, for those overseas or that aren't familiar, like this would be the most famous and historic missing children's case in Australia. And has potential to be worldwide news, and then everything else that's connected to it with your family and the cover up and all that. So it's we're at a very, very interesting time, and especially coinciding with Epstein being in the news and you stating that your father was the Australian Epstein. Anyway, I'll leave it over to you. But how have you been, first of all, just throughout this period? How's it been for you?
Well, it's always it's a dichotomy. There's the nervousness of, are they going to do something really dodgy to make it look like they were always at a place that they were not, that the remains I'm talking about. So there was always that fear. And also every time anything like this comes up, of course, it dredges up all your childhood memories, and it's really, really hard. And I know my brother Andrew's been, struggling with it as well, but still doing his absolute best. And he, he's a very strong man. So it's been distressing at the same time as, cathartic, because at least finally the Stansbury sinkhole has been spoken about in Adelaide's only paper. There's some other papers, but the Advertiser pretty much controls the news in paper form in South Australia. So I've got some articles that I'm going to share today just to show people the timeline of the events, and I'm going to go into some of the research that I've done, some of the evidence that I have, and it all ties back to what's going on with this Epstein thing at the moment. So it's all interrelated. I'll do my best to present it as clearly and concisely as possible. Again, obviously, there's a lot of trauma for me. So if my voice wavers or if I speak too quickly, it's because of the trauma aspect. And I do have a habit of smiling and laughing during things because I just cannot fucking believe, excuse my language, the ridiculousness of this not being investigated. But when you see how convoluted this is not just about children being stolen. This is about a state that's been involved in child trafficking and medical experimentation on children for decades. And that is why it hasn't come out. Yeah. People don't understand the complexity of it all.
Yeah, because I mean, at least on the...
Yes, everyone, there will be... I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I'll just say that much. I didn't think so many people did, but I love it. So around 7:30, I'll have it set up for the Paranormal Creepy and Unexplained. I'm sorry, Paranormal Creepy, Unexplained, and Scary Saturday Night. Thank you, Mama Bear. Tonight we'll be looking into and talking about what is called skinwalkers, guys. So please be there if you're interested. It should be quite interesting. I hope to see you guys there. If nothing else, to see the new intro we have for the show that Miss Molly put together that absolutely made me almost pee myself. So yes. And I don't get scared. She did a great job of putting that together. It's creepy as hell, folks. So be prepared for that. Just telling you. So yeah, Hummingbird, we will have one tonight between 7:30 p.m. It'll start Eastern Standard Time. So hope to see you there, and many more. Share it out, guys. Let everybody know what we're doing. It should be good. I think okay, yeah, I got all the questions. I thought it was another question, but I'm sorry.
Surface with the evidence that's been presented by your brother that it should be pretty clear cut for the authorities, but they're obviously protecting something much, much bigger than 3 missing children.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I have that.
Now, there was, for you guys that didn't know this, there was talk in one of the other shows that I had covered when I looked at this before of the children possibly being sold into a sex trafficking situation. There's no truth behind that. It's been proven as of yet, but it was something because of the man that they now believe was involved, having the money that he had, and others that, you know, having that type of money as well that could have been involved with him, the people he knew, I guess you should just say. It's still a theory that's out there that people believe that could have been, okay, and that maybe there's more, okay, if that's a possibility. That I'm not saying that's what I think happened to the Beaumont children for sure. I'm saying that it is a theory that's out there that has been bounced around. Hey, Jackie, good to see you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. But we don't know. Nobody knows at this point yet, but they're still digging and looking in different places because they have their own feelings on certain things. And I agree. But that's something else to keep in the back of your mind, too, of a possibility that's been talked about. So I don't know for sure, guys. Don't take that as fact. That's just another theory, per se. Speculative theory. So
a tendency to like laugh as well, too. And people have like pulled me up on it when it's like very like serious or even like disgusting topics. I don't know why I do that, but I'm glad you do it too, because then the pressure takes the pressure.
The trolls love it. The trolls love it. They go mental over it.
Yeah.
Okay. So without further ado,
if you want to share,
right, I'll start sharing. Okay, and I'll try and get through this as quick as I can. So just to start off, I've shared this picture before. There we go. This is my father. He had altar parts. So when he was in his evil max altar, this was the facial expression you would get. He had different aspects to his personality. So when my siblings that say they don't believe that he was an abuser talk about that, he did have an aspect that was like a fatherly, well, not fatherly, like a disjointed kind of, confused person. He had a confused altar. He had like a professor type altar where he knew everything, and then he had this evil altar, and he also had a child altar. So when you have mind control,
in this picture here with this bit, you're saying that's his evil altar there.
That's the evil altar, yeah, and that was caught on camera. So that's exactly the face that I used to run.
They're talking about alter ego, by the way, for anybody who's not catching this, I guess.
Run and hide under my bed because I will run and hide in the chook yard. As soon as I saw that expression, I would run. And my dog, the dog that we had growing up, would do the same thing, Ninka. Okay. So on the 9th of February, it was announced in the Advertiser's digital paper that they were going to do a third dig at the Castilloy factory in North Plympton for the Beaumont children's remains. Now, this is based around a theory that a man called Harry Phipps, who used to own this factory, had some sort of connection to the Beaumont children disappearance. Now, the number one thing that they've tried to connect Phipps to this disappearance with is a £1 note that the children were given. Now, my father told my sister that he gave the children a £1 note. So our father, my sister and my brother have been speaking about this because they were witnesses to what happened on the day that
And just in case nobody caught on to this, this is the interview with this Rachel Vaughn, who is a child of somebody that is believed to be another possible suspect in this. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. I'm sorry if I didn't. That I didn't say that sooner. My apologies.
The Beaumont children were brought to our property at Macklin Street, Edwardstown, on the day they went missing. So I'll go more into detail with that, but this was announced on the 9th of February. They always do these digs. This is the third one. They had one in 2013 and one in 2018 as well. None of them have found any bones. This dig was massive. Like, there were mountains of earth that they moved, and they dug down meters trying to look for this. Personally, in my opinion, and I can't say this with absolute knowledge, but it feels to me like this last search, just in the lead up, because it's 59 years since the children went missing, I feel like this was like they were going to really make this a big deal, really hype it up. And then 60th anniversary next year, I think they were going to try and say, oh, well, let's put it to bed. It's been 60 years, we'll never know. it's completely backfired because so many people have heard my brother's statements, my sister's statements, me talking about this in interviews, as well as Andrew, that they just flooded the mainstream media comment sections, Facebook, all of these sites with, why don't you dig at Stansbury? There's a lot of evidence involved. So
there's final dig in that title.
Yes, exactly.
Well, you said it was a £1 note because that 66 was the last year of the British pound in Australia.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I wonder if that had anything to, because 66 was a very, very, very big year. But that's right, because the Australian dollar came, so it obviously hadn't come in then. It must have came in later in the year.
Wow.
I wonder if that was symbology for anything to say that they were given a £1 note. Because it would be interesting to find out the exact date that the pound ended, because it would have been
absolutely
definitely that year.
Yeah, well, hopefully some researchers will put some comments in, save you having to dig around. Okay, so this was also the Sunday Mail did the same thing. They're talking about this, let's have another dig, and they're actually putting it on the Beaumont children family.
There goes 3 more giant military helicopters over my roof. Good Lord. Those were the dual-bladed ones, the big ones.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Have asked for this. They've asked for an inquest. I haven't heard any other talking about an inquest after the dig. The dig finished on Saturday. No one's talking.
Also, the name of this other person, I didn't say that either. Alan Maxwell McIntyre.
You're muted.
At an inquest. So,
We heard the name, but that was all we heard. No, still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Alan Maxwell McIntyre is her father's name that she's speaking about as the possibility of another suspect within this, guys, just so you know.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's better.
Into these missing children. So the family really wanted that. I don't think that they necessarily were really desperate for a dig, but they've used that as the excuse for the dig at Castelloy. They did this in 2018. No remains found. And then they did it in 2013 as well. So again, February 9th, we need closure. Interesting wording. I'm always very conscious of the communications between, those in the know with these articles. So we've got, the word escape. Someone pointed this out to me when I shared the article. Spy. My father was a spy. Hospitals doing wrong op. Hospitals were doing the wrong thing. Hospitals were very much involved with this experimentation. My father received a big award from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. My brother was witness to that. My father was a telecom technician, a secret ASIO operative. He was a line tapper for telecom, so he listened into people's phone calls. Why would he be getting an award from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital? I know why. And also the word well. So an imposter. As in the Castelloy dig, it's an imposter. That's what I read from that. So this is the article that came up on the 9th. They're talking about the Phipps connection, if there is one. Very interesting. They've got Nicole Kidman in the bottom, as I've spoken about. Some of the things that really need to be looked at here is that apparently it was the niece of the father of the children, Grant Beaumont, who asked for another investigation into Harry Phipps. Okay, so they're talking about nieces a lot in these cases, which is very interesting. Or this latest foray for the Beaumont children, it was the niece of Grant Beaumont, the father, or Jim was his real name. I think he got called Jim, but his real name was Grant. So they're talking about the niece of Jim wanting an investigation into Phipps. Later on in this, during the Castelloy dig, they mentioned a niece of Phipps was married to someone who was related to Jim Beaumont. Now, they didn't get together until many, many years after the children disappeared. So it's absolutely just erroneous that it was even mentioned. And that niece is absolutely furious that she was dragged through the paper. Obviously, both parents sadly died. Both Beaumont children parents died in recent years. On my birthday, interestingly, Mrs. Beaumont died in 2019 and Jim Beaumont died in 2023. There's part of the reason why they think Phipps might have been involved is because his son Hayden came forward saying he'd seen 3 children at the house soon after their disappearance, and then someone had to dig a hole. Now, in this, they are referring to a new investigation by the Hunters. Now, this is a group of men who were instrumental in having this dig at the third dig at the Castaloy factory take place. They had a program that was to air on the 22nd of February. And all of this came out, the big dig happened just prior to that. Okay.
So who are they, the Hunters? It's a group.
So it's a retired detective called Bill Hayes, a guy called Stuart Mullins who's written quite a few books on the Beaumont children disappearance. They had a gentleman, a world-renowned expert in soil, in working out whether or not soil had been turned over. So that man's name is Marchie Hennenberg. I think Marchie's a really good man. I've met with him. He's a lovely guy, very, very kind. So I've got nothing against Marchie at all. But I just feel that this was very much about, and Frank Pangello, who's an MP here. I think it was about selling their program, to be honest. I don't think it was about trying to find the children.
You're such a
very well
butt face. Oh, sorry. I didn't know I was unmuted.
Can I help you?
Yeah, you want a dog?
No. What happened?
Came running in the door as soon as Matt took off his harness, comes running in the office to my desk to get my chicken.
All I heard was, ah! You're a butt face. I went, okay, sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Oh, poor ghost. Poor ghost. They smelled that stuff from outside there. Sorry. Time to get in more chicken, Mom Bear. Jeez.
Don't like me, that I've produced a lot of evidence and put out vlogs, and I'm not liked, I can tell you. So in response to the 9th of February articles that they're going to do this dig again, obviously my brother Andrew is very distressed. Andrew McIntyre is my brother's name. He contacted me, we spoke about it, and we decided to start putting some posts out to try and get ahead of the news cycle. So this was one post that I put out on the 13th of February. So I'll just read it through quickly. So I was posting it on behalf of my brother. He's a recognised victim of childhood sex crimes. He had his abuser, Anthony Munro, convicted for 4.5 years in 2016. Andrew was also witness to the events on the day the deceased Beaumont children were brought to our Edwardstown home in the boot of a car, which is an event admitted by our father, Alan Maxwell McIntyre, in a 2015 video interview. And I've shared that many, many times. For those who've read Debbie Marshall's book, Banquet, on page 265, she admits that our father worked in the television industry at Channel 9 studios. So I've been alleging for years that he worked at Channel 9. I just didn't know that an investigative journalist had found evidence of it. And I've been alleging this because my father took me to Channel 9 studios as a small child and I was raped and filmed there. Now, we were very close friends with the Kelvin family. So Rob Kelvin is a presenter for Channel 9. My cousin Penny Ann worked with Rob. One of them sold a house to the other in North Adelaide. Rob is Richard Kelvin's father. Richard Kelvin went missing. He was part of the family murders. He was murdered in the 80s, in 1983. We used to go have family barbecues with the Kelvins, so it's a very connected thing, and I'll show some more evidence of that connection shortly. So on the same page that Debbie mentions that my father worked at Channel 9, she also says that my brother Andrew's abuser, Anthony Munro, filmed himself raping at least one of his victims. And that's very important to take into account because there's child rape material as well as children being trafficked for sex, as well as human experimentation going on in this Adelaide cult.
Yeah. That's kind of like the Epstein link, isn't it, as far as the filming stuff? But I was just going to say, is there any paper documentation of your father on the books at Channel 9, or was it off the books?
For her to have said, she's an investigative journalist. She must have some evidence to be able to say that. So
Content may include sensitive or violent content not suitable for all viewers. Feel free to step out if needed.
Now, this is where it kind of leans into the theory behind the child trafficking situation being possibly involved with what happened with the Beaumonts. Just for those of you that didn't catch that.
She's not shown it to me, but there must be something. So So in the book, unfortunately, Debbie states that Andrew's Beaumont allegations were unsubstantiated, but that's only because SAPOL won't look into it. And Andrew's allegations were actually substantiated by reams of evidence. And I just should mention too, Anthony Munro agreed to every single allegation made against him by Andrew when Andrew was having him investigated, and then
Also, Anthony Munro is one of the many suspects that they had believed to be the one that took the Beaumont children as well. For those of you that didn't remember that name from the beginning, just so you know. Welcome, Jody. Good to see you, dear. Great to have you here. It's great to see that you made it back safe and sound.
Sentenced for child rape that he perpetrated against Andrew during the time that the Beaumont children went missing, by the way, over that period. Munro did not contest a single word in that 15-page statement. That's extremely unheard of. It's very, very rare. The reason for that is because Munro knew that Andrew was going to have him cross-examined about the Beaumont children in court. He wanted to avoid it.
Okay, so there's some of that there, and I want to show you so that you don't get lost here. Sorry. There's a lot to this, like Mom said. There's a whole lot of different working parts with this one. Randy, what the heck are you watching? Okay.
Hey, Jody, hon.
One moment. Let me see something here. This was brought out 3 years ago. This video, again, comes from Rachel Vaughn, who is the child to this Alan Maxwell McIntyre.
That stunning new lead in the decades-old Beaumont case. As you would have seen in the news, a chilling video of a suspect has surfaced less than a week after his death. Now, members of Max McIntyre's own family are convinced their father was involved in Jane, Anna and Grant's disappearance and that they know where the children are buried. Here's Mark Mooney with the details.
I know a lot about the Beaumont killing.
Put it to him directly, you know, were you involved, Max? He said, no, I wasn't, but I'll tell you who was.
My father was involved in the abduction and murder of the Beaumont children.
Could this man hold the key to Australia's greatest criminal mystery?
How did you come to track me down?
Inside his home on a remote property on York Peninsula, Max McIntyre opens up about the allegations that have dogged him for much of his life.
At the moment, I'm researching the death of the Beaumonts because the only person only going to clear my name was me.
This never-before-seen interview, filmed in April 2015, is the only time he broke his silence. On Tuesday, Max died aged 89 and, according to his son Andrew, has taken the 50-year-old secret to his grave.
Exactly how much of a part he played, I'm not sure, but he was a major player in that. He disposed of the bodies.
While his father denied any involvement, he claims there was someone who may know what happened. That person is his one-time close friend, Scout leader Anthony Munro.
I want the whole bloody mess looked at. Now, I'll get around to who killed the Beaumonts in a minute.
Andrew first raised his own suspicions in a court case in 2008 after Max took out an injunction blocking he and his sister from entering his property. Since then, he's had trouble finding anyone who would listen to what he told the court about his father and Munro.
Now you want to know about Tony Munro.
Trying to tease the story out of him was investigative journalist Brian Littley.
We all hold hope that the Beaumont case can be solved, but I guess for me, I'm driven a little bit by the fear that I might actually have something that if I don't pass it on, it won't be solved.
Tony Munro had close relationships with numerous children through his scouting activities and a skin diving club he ran at Glenelg. It was around the time that Jane, Anna and Grant Beaumont disappeared from the same beach. It was Australia Day 1966. Andrew McIntyre remembers that day like it was yesterday.
Our father told us he'd take us to the beach, but he changed his mind and left us home.
He says when his father and Munro returned, they were agitated and upset, and there was sand and blood in Munro's car.
The children were in the boot of his white Zephyr. My two sisters were taken to the boot, and my sister had to brush the blood out of their hair. And
the boot, for those of you that aren't familiar with things in Australia, is considered the trunk of the car, for anybody who didn't know that.
Sand out of their hair.
His father never told him what had happened and how the children came to be in the boot of the car.
Andrew McIntyre claims that 2 weeks after the Beaumonts disappeared, Munro drove him from Adelaide to his father's property here in Stansbury. He says he dropped him in the driveway and sped off. As Andrew walked towards the house, he noticed something had changed. The sinkhole at the back of the property had been filled in.
Anthony Munro brought me over to Stansbury to point me in that direction to see that the well had been filled in.
The reason he was given?
A flock of sheep had run down it. The sheep that lived on the property for years.
He's convinced the Beaumonts are buried there and believes the authorities have an obligation to dig it up.
My father liked to have his victims close handy, and he was a very cruel man. I've always been terrified of him. I have constant nightmares about my father.
Oh my goodness.
In 1990, Munro was jailed for abusing a child and later fled to Cambodia, where he...
Did you say something?
I said, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to this one, guys, and there's probably more we're going to have to get back into at a later time, but I just wanted to give you these two sides to this and kind of let you go, okay, now what do we think? I mean, they really make the fish side or fifth side to this very believable, and it shows a lot of what you would call information evidentiary stuff that makes it look like, you know, hey, that's the answer. But then at the same time,
yeah,
we have this too. So
right,
this,
Eddie?
when
Cambodia?
Oh yeah, he went to Cambodia. He's the one that had to be extradited back so that they could even look into him at some point, and it took a lot to do that, from my understanding.
He ran Ladyboy bars.
Police are looking at 2 possible victims. They are all under the age of 15 years old.
With the authorities there on his tail, he returned to Adelaide last year and pleaded guilty to the abuse of 2 more boys in 1965. One of those boys was Andrew McIntyre.
Took a long...
And again, guys, this was a Boy Scout. We just talked about this, a scout leader. That's what Tony Munro, or Anthony Munro, whatever you want to call him, that's what he did. And there you go. You know, it gives you hands-on. Unfortunately, another thing that we trust our kids to go to camps and scout. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. And this was going on years and years and years ago in other countries as well, just so you guys know. Right, Jody. Very, very sad.
Time coming, it had to be dragged out of him.
During this time, Munro was questioned over the Beaumonts, but police say there's no evidence linking him to the case. Andrew says even if they were only responsible for disposing of the bodies, his father and Munro must have known who was involved in the abduction and murder. Andrew's been concerned that since Max's death, his half-brother Danny has unwittingly destroyed some of their father's belongings.
We're just wondering why you're burning all your dad's stuff.
No, it's just wood, mate. I'm not saying a word.
Do you think Max had anything to do with the Beaumonts?
Absolutely not.
While police have investigated some...
Now, let's think about something. And that's another reason why I wanted you guys to see this too. If the Phipps gentleman was a millionaire, he owned these different companies and properties and these things like that. He had the money that he had. Even if this guy here didn't do what they're saying, disposing of the bodies themselves, money will buy everything, you guys, and you know that. So you could pay somebody so much money to do something, and they're going to do it. People do a lot of things for money if they don't have any morals, of course. So these two could be actually linked together is what my whole point was, is, it could have still been the Phipps side of things with these two involved possibly too. There's a lot of pieces to this, a whole lot.
Some of his claims, Andrew McIntyre says they've stopped listening.
He was a victim of Tony Munro's in 1965 and in 1966 at the time or around the time that the Beaumont children went missing. I think you've got to give him some credit that you can't believe half his story and not the rest of the story.
Certainly, Max knew that Munro was abusing Andrew.
I caught him in bed with my son. They were bundled and naked. I didn't make.
So I caught him in bed with my son. They were bundled and naked. That's okay?
Yikes.
Right. Thank you. Look, there's some sick people out here. That's all there is. And we know that. So there's that.
Make a scene. He was a boy, a beautiful boy. He was my son, and he was the love of the Scoutmaster.
Andrew McIntyre says while his father will never face justice, it's not too late for others involved to be caught and punished.
All the evidence is out there. The witnesses are still alive, and we'd like to come forward and tell our story.
You're muted again.
Pretty wild, isn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely. And there's going to be more to that we're going to look into down the road. I did want to give you guys another update from another case I very, very slightly hit on a while back, which I think most of you guys have probably seen already, especially if you're on YouTube. I think Arctic did coverage on this yesterday or the day before.
Has there been absolutely no updates on Dane?
I've seen nothing. That's another thing I wanted to look at too. In fact, that's what I was pulling up next, to be honest with you.
It's been days and they haven't.
Yeah, I know.
Done anything.
Which has me completely unnerved.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. If they're covering the river, something should have been found by now. Okay. And there's been nothing. This is the newest thing that I have. Nancy did something on this. Hold on here. I'm going to give you guys this new thing that popped up. This is from a day ago, I believe, and it was gives the timeline. But other than this, I've seen nothing new, and it bothers me that there isn't anything. They gave that press conference type thing, and then this is from a day ago, but this could be later than that. You know how they run things here.
Yeah.
Continuing their desperate search for 2-year-old Dane Paulson. There's his picture right there. They're now focusing their search on the edge of the Sluts River. Officials say evidence suggesting he was at that river's edge before he vanished on Saturday. They also say Dane cannot swim. There's no evidence of a crime in this situation, but they are still asking for tips. Call the Lincoln County Sheriff's tip line if you know anything. More information is over at coin.com.
Nothing that I can find.
And nothing on Facebook on the sheriff's page.
I didn't see that there. Nothing new. I like when they give those updates. What the heck do they call those? Specific. It just gives you daily what's going on. I haven't seen anything new. Hold on a minute here. Let me see. I haven't looked today other than through YouTube. Okay. Maybe I need to hit the sheriff's page real quick here and see what we got.
Hey, everybody, don't forget time changes tonight.
2 a.m.
What'd Molly say? Did y'all see there's another big fire? This time it's Long Beach, the Hamptons. Oh, Lord.
Good God. Thank you, Molly. I guess we can look at that real quick. I'm going to go check the sheriff's. Jesus. How do you spell the the county again, Mama Bear?
Crap. I forget what the county is.
That's what I always forget, the county name for that. I want to find that, but I'm going to show you this update on the Martin family. They went missing in 1958. Arctic covered the whole thing. There's a video real quick I was going to show you guys on that too while I check for Dane. They recovered a car, I believe, but there's nothing left of it. Okay, Molly, thank you.
Take a look at this. After half a century of waiting, investigators finally hauled part of a car from the Columbia River today. This
Lincoln County
may just hold the answers to the long unsolved mystery of what happened to a Portland family that vanished more than 50 years ago. Good evening, I'm Anthony Costura, and this is The 10. Those crews finally hauled that car onto a truck today, kicking off a new chapter in this decades-old mystery. We've got team coverage tonight. Our Ariel Yakabazi breaks down what's next for the car and this investigation. First, though, our own Jeff Gianola, who's followed this case for years, brings the latest from the scene of the salvage operation there in Cascade Locks.
I'm Jeff Gianola reporting from Cascade Locks, where a key piece of possible evidence emerges in the case of the missing Martin family. But another piece remains firmly submerged on the bottom of the river. The anticipation came to an end at 3:40 in the afternoon Friday. The crane pulling up what remained of the vehicle, thought to be the 1954 station wagon the Martins vanished in 66 years ago. But what surfaced was just an undercarriage, axle, wheels, and part of the engine. Hood River Sheriff Matt English, who led the recovery effort, was disappointed but not surprised.
This is something that we kind of anticipated could be a reality. It's been in there for 66 years. And so, it's really rusty and really falling apart. And so I think they'll do more of a debrief, with the professionals. But it sounded like whatever is left there is full of rocks.
The sheriff says he's not sure if divers will look for evidence still submerged with the shell of the car.
I think everybody wanted to see an entire car come up.
When the Martins first vanished, Multnomah County Detective Walter Graven took up the case. Frustrated, it was never solved. His grandson Greg and daughter Gloria were on hand for the recovery effort.
It was such a shock to hear that they pretty much think they found the car. So many emotions. I just feel my dad's spirit here today, and I'm so happy, but very emotional.
He took pride in wanting to find the answers. That's carried through to third generations now, from my dad to me, is that we are the last voice for a family. We are a last voice to find out what the results are of what happened to them and to give answers to the family.
The wreckage was covered and hauled away to a secure location to begin the next phase of the investigation, combing through what's left for clues and evidence. And during the recovery effort, a bald eagle flying above it all, perhaps the spirit of the Martin family rising above their mysterious tragedy. So now the work begins to go through that wreckage looking for any clues or evidence. And if investigators find anything, we'll be the first to let you know. Reporting from Cascade Locks, Jeff Gianola.
Just incredible reporting from Jeff. And after a grueling week, investigators finally managed to pull the decades-old vehicle from the waters you just saw. Our Ariel Yakabazi now explains the next steps.
Well, that massive crane has finally been put away, and all crews have finally gone home after days of investigation here at the Cascade Locks. Hood River County Sheriff Matt English and his officials are now getting to the nitty-gritty, trying to figure out if that car, one of the cars found here in the deep, dark depths of the Columbia River, actually belonged to the Martin family. You're looking at the moments this massive crane removed what could be the Martin family vehicle, or at least most of it. Hood River County Sheriff Matt English tells us they have the main parts, including the engine, which could make for a positive identification. But he says he's staying cautiously optimistic as this investigation continues.
They're going to take that vehicle back to our secure facility. They hope to start processing a bit tonight. look for the identifying information that we had from the files, and then go from there. Honestly, there's a probability that we may never know.
We also checked in with Archer Mayo, the local diver who discovered the car back in November after spending 7 years searching for it. He says this week and today's excavation have been emotional.
I'm so excited to see how many people are interested in this now, because I've had this virus for quite a while, and to now see people really responding to the Martin mystery and the family and the compelling narratives of this, and to bring it to a head has been super great.
Mayo says he's hoping to help in the investigation in any way he can to help bring closure to this decades-old case. Sheriff English says over the next couple of days, he's hoping to get more answers to this decades-long case, and that could mean getting back into the icy waters of the Columbia to gather more evidence. Back to you.
Our thanks to Ariel Yakabazi and Jeff Gianola tonight. For more on the Martin family and their decades-long disappearance case, you can visit coin.com. Check out the timeline as well as Jeff's report on the 50th anniversary and his podcast series on the investigation.
There's that, and obviously they're not going to find anything with the chassis of the car. Okay, but even so, that's still just wild to find the car after 66 years, you guys. That's a lot. I think it's their car too, Tomboy. What they find around it, maybe, I don't know, but it's been 66 years. Sadly, there's probably not going to be a whole lot left. If anything, they may find maybe the bones if they're there, you know, and in the ground and around it, maybe. I don't know. It's interesting to say the least, but we'll get more onto the coverage of that too coming down the road. I do want to jump on this, though. Here we go.
Yeah, I agree, Tomboy. There should still be a VIN on there.
Yeah, it's usually stamped on the motor. It's somewhere back then, at least on the motor back
right
somewhere. You know what I mean? There should be a stamp on it. This is as of today, 12 p.m. Lincoln County Sheriff's Office and partnering agencies are continuing search operations for Dane Paulson. Investigators continue to follow up on informational tips alongside search efforts. Daily water searches utilizing watercraft, specialized equipment, and trained personnel will continue until further notice. Some efforts focusing on the search on the river include a boat running methodical searches over long spans. In addition to searching today, this boat covered an approximate 14-mile stretch of the river yesterday. It's a lot, guys. A boat running underwater sonar and underwater drones, remotely operated vehicles with underwater cameras. Many community members are also searching the river with personal watercraft, expanding the coverage area to include the lower Siletz River. How community members can help would be to share official updates found on the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office Flash Alert and Facebook page. That's what I was looking for, was the Flash Alert. Sorry. Currently, there is no evidence to suggest criminal activity in Dane's disappearance. We still ask the public to report relevant information to the tip line at 541-265-0669 to ensure investigators receive information as quickly as possible. Please submit all tips to the tip line, not through Facebook, when sharing information that may help us bring Dane home. Be as specific as possible. Note the time, exact location, and get clear photos or videos when possible. If community members choose to continue their search in addition to emergency responder searches, keep these things in mind. If you are choosing to search the river or riverbanks, wear a life jacket at all times. The Siletz River is cold and fast moving. Please avoid areas with active searching by emergency responders or certified personnel. Do not search during the night or dark hours. Carry safety equipment such as a first aid kit, extra water and food, whistle, flashlight, etc. Dress appropriately for the weather and terrain. Wear layers, bring waterproof clothes, and sturdy shoes. Before you set out, have a safety plan in place. Let someone know exactly where you're headed and when you will return. That's just common sense, guys. Just because if you were to get lost, you don't have to spend hours looking for you too. Remember that private property cannot be searched without updated permission from the owner. Updates will be shared through Flash Alert and our Facebook page as significant updates become available. Once again, we express empathy for Dane's family. We also want to thank you our community for their compassion and assistance. Our teams are working to bring Dane home. So let's talk about this, guys. 14 miles plus they've searched on this river now. What is going on? Where is this child? I truly would have thought if he went into that water, they'd have found him days ago. We're at day what, 6 here or 7?
7 or 8.
Or maybe even, well, yeah, he went missing. It is 8, 7. He went missing last Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. It was last Saturday. So this is 7 days, guys. I mean, what's going on here?
Well, they said when he originally went missing, the water was higher, so it may have been flowing faster. So he may have moved further down than what.
Well, 14 miles they've gone, Mama Bear. That's a long.
That's on top of the water, not.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I do too at this point, Lisa. They said his last known place to be was the river's edge. He might be out there, though, guys. Way out there.
Yeah.
With the water.
And the debris, I don't know, debris, not the, I guess the foliage and stuff on the edges
The brush
reminded
and all
me a
that.
lot of Nicola, that situation. Nicola Bully.
Yes.
How
yes.
that river's edge was. It reminded me a lot of that. And
It does. Yeah.
so
she
he
was-
may be snagged on something and up under something.
Well, and that's what I said the other day. With as small as he is, he could have very well got up underneath like a fallen tree, a brush, or something, and got stuck. I hate saying this out loud because he's human. You know, he's a little baby, but he could have gotten wrapped up, stuck up underneath behind something that they haven't found yet. That's what happened with Nicola, according to them. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people are. I saw a Sarah Pro page commenting shit that I thought was unnecessary, like something isn't adding up, etc. And I unfollowed. Oh yeah, there's a lot of things, Lisa, that have been said. I'm not attacking any parents. I won't do that, and I don't want anybody else to do that either. I just want to know where he's at. That's all I want to know. There's people in here saying things that if he was in the water, I believe he'd be found already. I don't know. Something seems off about the whole thing, and this is where people will go and immediately go directly at the parents now. I think they did something. Don't do that.
No.
They're going through enough right now. Whether or not that the time thing was right or wrong, that doesn't matter right now. What matters is bringing him home, finding him. We can talk about that stuff after the fact, okay? Let's find him first. The same thing I said with Sebastian's situation. People want to do the blame game all the time. Blame, 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 blame. I think this happened, that happened. Okay, great. I'm glad you think that. Let's find him. Then we can talk about that stuff if we have to, okay? Just don't people automatically go that well, they should have done this and they should have done that. Stop. Come on. What if it was your child?
Mm-hmm.
What if you looked away for 5 seconds or 5 minutes and that child disappeared somehow? And you didn't do it on purpose. You didn't put your child in danger. You didn't want that child to disappear. You didn't try to hurt that child.
Right.
Accidents happen. You want the whole world coming at you saying you should have done this and pointing their finger at you? Absolutely not. So don't do it to other people.
Yep.
That's insane. Blows my mind. I really hate that crap. We don't know until we know. Right. That's it. We don't know until we know. We don't know what happened. Law enforcement will handle that. That's their job. If there's anything to handle, let's find him first.
Yeah.
Period. Let's just find him. You know what? And it has happened to me. There's been a couple times my kids have gotten away. Even Caden for that. I told you guys when my son crawled out the window to the front of our house one time. I'm all over my house looking for him. You know, the kid
Lord.
could get away from the best investigator in the world. He was quick back then. You know, he really was. And so yes, at least one time in our lives, one of our children has done something or gotten to a point where they've slipped away from us without us knowing it. Thank God they didn't end in bad situations because it could have happened to any of us, you guys. So let's think about that before we judge somebody else. Egg, I'm right there with you, Cap. I would love, you know, my stomach tells me different. But I would love to see a happy ending for this child to come home safe and sound. It would be a miracle, in my opinion, but still, you know?
Exactly, Tandy.
That's right. That's right. We are not judged. jury, or God. And in my opinion, folks, there's only one person that can judge us, and that's the big man upstairs. That's my opinion. Okay. So that's all there is to it. And that's how I thought. Lisa, listen, this story, guys, is real. My wife is in the background. She can tell you. She was out jogging or walking with her friend. Me and my son, Caden, Mr. ADHD himself, were home alone. He was still in diapers. Okay. And he was very fast. He loved to go out that door. So we kept that door locked down like Fort Knox. Well, I spent the day with him as always, doing different things, and everywhere I would go, Caden would go with me because I didn't trust Caden to not try to get out somewhere or get into something. He was nonstop. So I had to go to the bathroom. I picked my son up at, I think he was 2, or maybe going on 3. He was 2 because he was still in diapers. I picked him up and took him upstairs, and I had to use the damn bathroom, folks. You couldn't hold it anymore. His bedroom was right here next to the bathroom. They were like they catted each other. So I put him in his room on the floor with some toys, and I said, "Sit down, Daddy, be right back." I had to go to the bathroom. I even left the damn doors open. I'm in the bathroom, staring at his door, watching him, because that's how fast he was. I don't know if I blinked or turned my head, but he did something. He slipped out past me. And I went to the bathroom quickly, was done, went to go grab him. He's gone. I'm like, what the hell? So I started yelling for him, thinking he was right close. I went through my entire house, attic to basement, and there's nothing. I'm flipping out. I called her and I said, hey, I can't find him anywhere. And she, of course, she's out in the neighborhood walking. She's flipping out. And I happened to go past my living room looking, and I looked over, and my window in the living room was open this much. None of the rest of them were open. It was open that much. He opened the window and crawled out onto the front porch, headed down the stairs, and walked in the direction to go to his grandmother's house, because that's the way we drove. And started walking down the street. Thank God the neighborhood knew who he was, because we would always walking up and down the street with him, and they thought how adorable he was, all that fun stuff. She saw him walking and grabbed him real quick by the hand and started walking back. I ran out the door, and here he comes, hand in hand with her. And you want to talk about breathing and not breathing? I breathed the biggest sigh of relief in my life. And I was like, oh my God, I started crying, everything. And she's like, it happens. Don't worry about it. We know how he is. They all know him, because he would bolt. We'd be sitting in the front yard playing with him, and he'd take off running down the road because he wanted to go to grandma's house. Because he loved going there. That was the direction the car would drive. The kid had enough sense to make those two put together. You know what I mean? So anyway.
God, my kids never did that. I feel.
Yeah. We had locks on all the doors, windows. I had locked the windows down now because he's crawling out windows. But that truly happened. And it scares the shit out of you. Scares the death out of you. I couldn't, as much as I loved him being a baby, I couldn't wait till he was like 5 or 6 to at least be able to explain to him that you cannot get out. You can't do this. Which he still did what he wanted, but it wasn't as bad. You know what I mean? Thank you for doing this, Bill.
Yeah, I would say the worst my kids did was like they would say they'd be at a friend's house in the neighborhood, and they would go there and they'd play, but then they'd decide to go to their other friend's house in the neighborhood and not let me know. So when I went to check on them, nobody was there. And so I would freak out.
Mm-hmm. Brady's twins they would hide. She left looking for them one time, called the police and everything, had the police come to the house.
Holy cow.
Yeah. One of them was sleeping inside their toy box. The other one was sleeping in between the mattresses.
Oh, in between the mattresses?
In between, this is how tiny they were. In between the fitted sheet and the mattress.
Oh my gosh.
He pulled the blankets back and didn't see it. That's how small they were. They were tiny when they were little. And how did you find them?
They were twins. The cop was talking to me like I was stupid. And he goes, did you look for them first? I'm like, well, obviously I looked for them. And it was a kid's bed, and it had a fitted sheet, and he was laying spread eagle in between the fitted sheet and the mattress, and the other one was hiding in the toy box and had all his toys over. And it was when I saw his toes sticking out from his transformer.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Shane's foot was sticking out of the back corner of the toy box, and the other one was laying flat out. And they were really skinny, tiny little kids. And they used to do weird shit like that. Guys, I was sitting, when me and her first got together, we were watching a movie, right? And she had this old furniture her grandmother gave her. It was really plushy pink furniture. It was kind of ugly, but whatever. It was comfortable. So we're watching this movie, right? And it was kind of a scary movie. And the couch moved, and I moved my arm away from her, and next thing you know, a child comes crawling up out of the furniture. I went, what is going on with your kid? Like, that almost
awesome.
Didn't make it because, like, her kids.
Nothing wrong with my children. They were perfect.
Your kids were crazy, strange. Like her daughter was very jealous of the twins. Okay, very jealous. She was the oldest one. The twins were born. She did not like them. She tried to kill them a couple of times. To be honest with you,
Joseph, she didn't try and kill them. What she did is she stacked one baby on top of the other to get over the baby gate to get to the playroom.
she tried to kill them.
Aw.
She didn't like them. She was mean to them. They were weird. They would flush each other down the toilet. You guys.
Okay, again, you're misconstruing it. They were cackling. I couldn't find them once again, and I heard the toilet flushing. I go upstairs, and the smaller twin, Shane, was sitting inside the toilet with his hands on the sides, and Sean was flushing it, and every time the water swirled around, they would cackle.
This is normal, right? This is normal.
Listen,
My kids didn't do it, but it sounds normal.
You're used to having one baby. So one baby can't do it. That's the end of the story. But this one had a partner in crime.
Yeah.
So like they
They're
used to
insane.
couldn't get out of their cribs. And one of my twins was smaller than the other one. So Shane could climb out of his crib. He would flip his butt over the side, hang off the rails, drop.
Yep.
The other twin couldn't do it because he was chunky. So I couldn't figure out how they were getting out of their room. Shane would do his little maneuver, get out of his crib, crawl into Sean's crib, push his butt over. Out, and then they tag team the baby gate.
Yeah, her kids were insane.
And that when I came downstairs and I had WIC at that time, and I had all these boxes of Rice Krispies, and it was like it was snowing. They were in the kitchen. Every box was open. They were throwing it on each other's heads, making snow angels.
Oh, I can. Yeah.
When they put the peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the VCR and
Yeah.
tried to get it out with Darian's little plastic chinaware.
All of our kids did that kind of stuff.
At some point, you're either crying or laughing, one of the two.
And then I brought my kids into the scene with her kids. They all came together. Like my son Tyler.
You wanted to attack my children. Your son could. They had gotten Nintendo 64,
I was just getting ready to tell them that I wasn't done.
and they said, "Hey, come upstairs. You can play with us." And he goes upstairs, and they showed him how to play, and he didn't win. So he proceeds to take the controller and beat the living daylights out of the twins.
That was my Tyler. Two of my kids were very like me. They wanted to fight all the time back in the day. Actually, three of them because my daughter was that way too. But we blended this together. So we had her crazy and my violent kids, and we put that together and we made a real family out of it, which worked out because they all ended up being amazing. But yeah, they were still. Her daughter used to go hide in the rafters when she became a little bit older. At the one house we lived in, and like we're looking all over the place, and she's up in there eating cookies and shit, blaming it on everybody else because the cookies disappeared. And I'm like, what are you doing? Crazy. Thank you, Tandy. Yes, she's beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I don't even remember what the hell I was going to tell you guys before that, but we went through the same kind of stuff. I mean, to find out that the kid was between the mattress and the fitted sheet, and I'm like,
yeah.
How little were they? And I saw it, I went, oh, I mean, they were like that big around, tiny little kids. And just absolutely, they would sleep in toy boxes and under beds and in bed mattresses and just weird things like that. So it's like, okay, so be it.
Dana says, yes, me and my twin were horrible together when we were little.
Oh, twins are like those two drove me nuts. I'm better than this. I'm better than you. I'm better than you at this. I'm better than you at that. I'm better. Oh, and they would fight each other and pick each other. I said, you know what? One day she left to do something. And I said, come here. I went in their bedroom with both of them. I know I probably shouldn't have done this, but I was just sick and tired of seeing them try to compete. I said, neither one of you are better than the other. You're twins, for God's sakes. First of all, I said, and second of all, it doesn't matter. You're both great kids, you know? So I went in there and they were bickering. I said, go ahead, fight. Shut the door. I said, fight. Do it. Let's see who wins. So they started wrestling around I wasn't going to let them like hurt each other, but they started wrestling around doing this and doing that. Just, I'm stronger this way. And I'm stronger that way. And we went on for 20 minutes and I said, all right, stop. I sit on the bed watching. And they were like, what? See, I just said, who won? They both looked at each other. I said, nobody did because neither one of you is better than the other one. I said, you're the same person. I said, but you have different minds. That's what makes you unique and special. I said, stop trying to be better than each other and just help each other. They realized nobody's going to win. End of story. They moved on. I was just so tired of that. Like, good God, you guys, quit. Yeah, that's how
Joey,
they felt.
hope it
In
didn't
the
happen
end,
to
there
you.
can only be one. Yes. But it was definitely fun. And now
Mhm.
they have their own kids. And Tyler is still that way. If he doesn't get his way, he still throws temper tantrums, but he's a grown man now. The other ones, well, one of them has got his own issues, and my daughter, she's doing okay. The other daughter's doing amazing. So these are the wonderful things that you go through with kids. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Thank you so much for that compliment, Tandy. And my twin report. The twins are like that. That's just part of it. And now these two, I swear they're still like they're both grown adults. They have their own, Shane has Junie, Sean has Xavier, his wife, and all that, and his own home and everything. But Shane still makes decisions for Sean. It's ridiculous to me. He's the more dominant twin, always has been. And like Sean will just kind of sit there and let Shane do everything for him. It's even not even his house, and he does it. Hey, SRB. Thank you very much. I hope you're having a good weekend, SRB. So there's a lot of different. We covered quite a bit today. It was a pretty good show this morning or today, guys. We put out some good stuff. Oh shoot, Mama Bear, hold this for me. I'll be right.
Okay. Jody, please tell me that you didn't get pushed down the hole in the shit house. Oh my goodness. 12 kids, 2 sets of twins. I used to say she had 10 kids and 2 idiots. Oh my God. Good, SRB. I know how it is after your hubby's been gone for a week. It takes the whole weekend to recoup from that.
Okay, sorry, I had to grab something. Oh, we did that too. We used to make them hold hands. We put a T-shirt on the twins, made them wear the same shirt. They hated that. They were in the shirt together. Oh God, they hated that. That was funny though. Oh, good for you, SRB. You deserve it. I was gonna say something else, and I can't remember what it was. Shoot. I completely lost my train of thought. Okay.
Must not have been important. Well, my brother pushed me, but I fell in, but had strong legs, so I hung by my toes.
That's some really strong legs there. Jeez.
I would have some strong legs too if my brother pushed me in the shit house hole.
Right. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. We've been here 3 hours. Like I said, it was a great show. We got out a lot of information. The Beaumont children's story is very interesting to me, especially the different aspects as to what could have happened. The updates that they put out on it. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing that, the interesting side to it. I hope that they can solve it soon. It's been 60 some years now at this point. 50 some years. I was thinking of the Martin family. That's another one that we looked into. Again, there's, the update on Dane. It's really bugging me. Like something is just, they need to get with something needs to happen in this, in my opinion. They really do. So I pray that we get some kind of an update on that soon. Again, guys, I'll be in here tonight I'll post it up about 7:30 to do the paranormal, unexplained, creepy, and scary Saturdays. I think I said too much there, but anyway, so look for that. I'll set that up here relatively soon, so it's ready to go. And Tandy's asking Mama Bear, when are we covering your story, Mama Bear? When you're
Which
working
one?
on.
This one, the FBI one.
Mm-hmm.
I have it all together except for doing the audio. But if we wanted to not do the audio, which would save
Whenever
me
you're
time.
ready, I'm ready. I'll do it with you. I'm down. You're the boss on that one, ma'am. I'm following your lead.
Let's see. What do I got this week?
All I have planned for tomorrow is the regular morning show, and then nothing. So if you want to do it, whenever you want to do it, I'm ready.
Yeah, we could do it tomorrow.
Okay. Put it together and put it out, and we'll do it. I'll join you. I'd love to. I'd be honored to be able to do that. So look for that, guys.
All right, Tandy, we'll do it tomorrow.
It'll be on Mama Bear's channel, so I want to see everybody over there. Not me, just Mama Bear. I'll join her, but it'll be on her thing, all of her things. So I hope to see all you guys there. And tonight, guys,
Lisa.
I don't even want to know. Yes, you do. You're not even slightly curious, Miss Lisa? A little bit. Just a little bit. Thank you, CZ. And again, thank you. See, we have them in here now. Tandy's here, CZ, and Miss Jody are amazingly amazing and beautiful teachers in here. Thank you for doing what you do once again. Now that you're all here, I can say it. And Tandy and Miss Tomboy's children are teachers too. So yes, I hope that you guys are, now that you're all here, I'll say it again, that you guys deserve so much more credit than you receive. And we need to celebrate teachers a lot more than we do. So thank you for what you both, all three of you do. It's an amazing thing. God bless.
Yep.
I said it when Tandy and Jody weren't in here, but I want to say it now that you're all here together. So thank you again.
SRB, it's on Skinwalkers, your favorite.
Or, as Miss Lisa put it, where'd she say it?
Blush pedestrians.
Blush pedestrian, yes. We'll be waiting out. We'll be outside waiting. It won't be that bad. It won't be that bad. I hope Cassie's here. She loves that stuff. Molly's going to be here. I've had a lot of people asking about it. So that's what I chose last week, actually. I was on the ball this time, guys. I'm going to set it all up. And I hope to see you guys here for it tonight. Thank you guys again so much for... Yeah, that's not so bad, SRB. It's really not. Skinwalkers like bed bugs. No.
No.
You wish they were like bed bugs. Nope. It's
Right.
a little bit more than that. They're a lot bigger too. You'll see, Miss Tandy. You'll see. Anyway, thank you guys. I'm looking forward to that tonight as well. I always look forward to our paranormal and scary stuff so that we can get away from the crime and all the other harsh stuff that we look at. It gives us a little break from it.
They're skin crawlers, Tandy.
Yes, they're skin crawlers. That's it. Monday, Lisa, we'll have a meeting Monday. Usually Mondays and Fridays now is what we'll do. So weekends, I don't bug you guys with it because it's the weekend. You guys have stuff going on. Enjoy your weekends, please. I know most of you guys are hard workers and have jobs that you got to work throughout the week. The weekends are yours to enjoy. But ick. Now you're scratching. Bed bugs, yes. You talk about bed bugs or cockroaches, I get itchy immediately.
Yep. Or lice.
Hairless humans. That could be another way to look at it there, Tomboy. Could be. I hope you're there too. I'd love to see you all there tonight. Tell me, you guys are always talking about me doing this paranormal stuff, and then I do it and I only see so many people. So I hope you're all there, everybody, especially the ones that asked for it. So
All right.
we'll see what we got. I always try to throw little surprises in with it. But anyway, first and foremost, be there to at least see the intro for it, because Molly did one hell of a job on that for sure. Is amazing. And thank you for that again, Molly, if you're still in here, which I doubt. But I do not tell you anything about. I know you don't, but I want you to see it with us, Tomboy, because we love you. Tomboy and SRB are just not the biggest fans of all that stuff. The mystery stuff they like, that has like a mystery twist or a thriller to it. When it gets into like different creatures or things, that they're little. Not really interested. Like Doodle was when I covered the black-eyed children, I thought Doodle was going to crawl inside herself for that one. She was
I
still
wish I'd seen that.
petrified.
That would have been
She was
funny.
still petrified over that one. My ass be hiding in the corner. Well, we're all together, so you don't have to hide. We won't let the things get you.
Right.
I promise. Just grab a pillow. See, there you guys. You and Tomboy stick together, SRB, and then you can protect each other.
Jody's going to be in there with SRB and Tomboy. They're all going to be hiding in a corner.
It'll be okay. It's not so scary. I promise you. I promise it's not. Hell, in my opinion, the intro that Molly made is scarier than what we're talking about for a fact. So. Lisa said, I don't believe you. I promise you. I would not lie to you. I wouldn't. You'll see. You'll see. Listen, if it gets too scary, just step out. That's all. But it won't be. You'll enjoy it, actually. It'll be interesting. It doesn't have to be so scary for me. Well, it doesn't have to be for SRB either. She gets scared pretty easy, so. I haven't peed my pants in a long time. Well, we're not trying to make that happen, Jody, still, but if you think you need to wear a diaper or something, then just to be safe, it is what it is. It's okay. It'll be fun. For all you paranormal fans, it'll be fun. It's like it's a nice break from everything else. We get to kind of relax a little and break away from that. And then we will be having a music show coming up soon because Bonnie purposely requested that. So that'll be coming down the road here too. For anybody that likes those, just gives us a break from the stuff that we do and being able to enjoy each other. Yep. I enjoy it for that much that we get to enjoy each other and learn things about each other as well. I can imagine, Jody. I can too. A lot of kids have been. I'll be sleeping with the lights on. It'll be okay, Lisa. All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys go and move on with your days. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I really, really do appreciate you all, each and every one of you, as does Mama Bear. And I appreciate you guys that have gone over and kept her company today. Make sure, again, that you have not. Please make sure to jump over and hit the like button over there. If you can, please subscribe if you haven't. Notification bell as well, so you don't miss anything. Same here. And make sure that you, if you had chosen to be subscribed here, that you still are, because I guess YouTube has caused some problems with that. Make sure that you still subscribe if you want to be. Can we possibly look at? Yeah, we absolutely can, Tomboy. Absolutely, we absolutely can. If we have enough people in there, then sure, absolutely. And most of the people I think that enjoy that might be in there at this point, so we definitely will talk about it and look into it for sure.
Yep.
It sounds like a plan. And then I could probably show some videos and stuff too, maybe along with it. We'll see. We'll see how well the YouTube or the Discord supports all that stuff. We'll see.
Right.
So have a great rest of your Saturday, guys. Till tonight. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change nothing. You guys are the beautiful people. I do appreciate you all, each and every one of you, so very much. Mama Bear, thank you for always supporting and standing by me when we do this. I appreciate you all the time, and always will. Much love to everyone. The Blue Crew, thank you for being amazing and blue like you are and doing everything you guys do. You rock and roll. Couldn't do it without you, and that's fact. So I will see you guys very soon. Until then, have a great one, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. I'll see you tomorrow because I will probably be asleep by the time they do the paranormal. So I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Life's a journey. Let's make every moment shine. Together we share our hearts so intertwined. Each time you tune in, we're dancing in sync. With every story told, just let your soul think. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. Kick back, take a breath, leave your worries behind. This podcast is magic, a treasure you'll find. With every moment shared, we light up the way. Join us next time for more laughs and play. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. A little laughter, some love, we're flying high. As we wrap up this episode, it's not goodbye. News on the airwaves, spreading joy and cheer. Thanks for being with us, we'll see you right here. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So hit that subscribe, keep the vibe alive. We're riding this wave and it's set to thrive. With smiles all around, let's seize the day. In this podcast family, worries drift away. So gather round friends, it's time to reflect. In this joyful moment, what's next to connect? Let's cherish the laughter, the joy that we spread. Together we'll thrive until our hearts are fed. See you next time with stories anew. Can't wait to share more with all of you.